Fuck me. Let's try this again. Jesus, this needs to be the catchphrase of this channel. I can't go through a single live stream without something happening. And you know what? This time I was on top form. I had the device ready, the mic was connected, there was nothing wrong with it, and I just lose signal. Unbelievable, unbelievable. This is shambles. Thank God, you know, like, there's a reason this channel isn't monetized. Incompetency. I am morally outraged with myself. I had the device ready, the mic was connected, there was nothing wrong with it. There you go. I just lose signal. We're good. Hey, dude, Devon! Good to see you, my friend. This is shambles. Thank God. You know what? This is really embarrassing. Give me a second. There's a reason this channel isn't monetized. Let me just close my social media. Incompetency. Close all tabs. Thank you. YouTube box. Oh man, I would just like to get through one live stream without issue, and it is my fault, Devon. It's my fault. I've been doing this long enough that it should be I should be on top form. But anyway, the point is we've made it now. We've made it. I've made it. Let me delete this. Yeah, man. You know what's funny? The video ended after a minute. I was putting on a brave face and talking for about 5. I was thinking, wow, the turnout is quiet. What is going on? But I put on a brave face because I thought maybe people would be tuning in different times. Anyway, the point is, bloody hell. Yeah, I've been talking to myself in every sense of the word. But here we go. I'm going to share this in my Discord. This isn't even my Discord. Wow. Let's try this again. Everyone. Let's try again. And I'm going to share the Discord with you guys. Boop. Right. Share my Discord. And then I can finally relax. There's my Discord, folks. Archive videos, AV, the AV kid. Hey, how's it going? You know what? I have not been talking about much, my friend. And the reason why is because, once again, without fail, technical hitch. I disconnected for some reason. Even though I have 5G on my phone, that's just, yeah, I don't know. Maybe the government are afraid of me, you know. Maybe they're afraid of someone who will speak the truth to nations from different planets, you know. I think the destruction of Alderaan was an inside job. There, I said it. But it's good to be back. It's been a few Fridays since we've just done this, just hung out. We did have the Crimson Mall Kenobi, no, not Kenobi, sorry, the Crimson Mall Revenge of the Sith watch party the other week. But it's been a while since we just chillaxed as friends. Yes, Devon has been helping me with the micro series. He is the silent partner. He's a researcher. He's helped break down the different clone ranks and how we can utilize them better. So it's good. But tonight, I mean, you can ask me about the micro series if you want, but tonight we're just gonna chill. There's no watch party. There's nothing for us to download or to synchronize up with. But it's just nice to be back. It is jolly to be back. Have I watched anything in my free time? I'll tell you what I rewatched. I rewatched Memento the other day. I haven't seen Memento in a long time. It's a Christopher Nolan film, and I mean, I live in Britain, so maybe it only applies to my region, but It's on Netflix at the moment, and that is it's a very interesting film, and it's quite unique. It's probably the only film I've seen which is completely out of order deliberately. Um, and the reason they did that is because it helps you get into the mind frame of the character who has a brain injury. It's fantastic. So if I had to recommend anything to you, my friend, it would be uh, it would be Memento. Ah, brilliant. There is always something. In this case, my fire alarm goes off. Unbelievable. Internet disconnects, fire alarms go off, computer shuts down, the microphone goes mute. Why can't I just have a normal live stream? Um, have I contacted the Hangout banker? No, my friend, I haven't, because you know me by now. I'm notoriously bad for that. I need to. I need to. Damn it. I will do that. I will do that. It's on my to-do list. But I'll tell you what, though. I'll tell you what, guys. I have some news which isn't necessarily. Actually, yeah, it's not even news. I apologize. I don't mean to get your hopes up. It's not news. It's just like a personal triumph for me. Uh, I've I've been using this MacBook Pro since 2012 because I think Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was just announced, and I've had it since then. And over the years, it's been upgraded, parts swapped out, broken in some areas, fixed in some areas. And I'd say for this last year, it's been on its hind legs. And my friends have told me, to transfer all my files from that into my new laptop, the one I use to stream. And I have. It's most of my stuff, most of my important stuff's on the external hard drive. But here's the thing: there was one edit on it which I would rather finish on it than start again on a different device. So it's taken me months to do what should be, a fairly quick edit. But it isn't even a Star Wars edit. It's actually about a different fandom, which I'll keep to myself. But yeah, it's been a personal project for a while. And people on the other channel have been saying like, "Oh, where is it? When's the next one? I really want to see it. Are you still doing them?" And finally, it's being exported, and it's a load off my mind. So I'm so glad I get to say goodbye to my Mac finally. Thank God I didn't do any arduous Clone Wars micro series edits on the Mac, because that'd be a shame. But no, it's good. Um, the micro series is, you know what? I'm very optimistic about the micro series. I truly believe it's going to be finished sooner than I initially thought. I assumed it would take me, what, maybe 3 to 5 years, but realistically, I think, well, I'm hoping within the 3 years it'll be done. Within these 3 years. So, yeah. We'll have to see, but it's amazing. As soon as you find someone who can edit like you can never imagine. Somebody who exceeds expectations. All of a sudden there's a whole different world of possibilities of what you can do or what you could achieve in a set amount of time. So for instance, I might contact a guy who is pretty good at drawing, and I say, "Great, can you color correct this?" And then he goes away and comes back and does something way better than I even wanted him to do, or even thought was possible. And I'm like, "Yes, do that for all of it." So suffice to say, when this thing's finished, I'm going to be immensely proud of it. And the funny thing is, it's it's not even my work anymore. They're my ideas, and I pay for the bloody things, which is why which is why I need sponsorship. But no, a lot. It's a collaboration. It's a lot of ingenuity between different artists. Sean's Animation was one of the first artists on it, and what he's done with Grievous is amazing. But what I mean is, for instance, I don't think Sean is as available as he once was, or maybe he just doesn't want to do it anymore. Whatever, it's absolutely fine. He's done a remarkable job. What I'm saying is, ever since Sean, I assumed there wouldn't be anybody else quite like his standards. I thought, blimey, this is gonna, I'm really gonna have to search far and wide for someone who I can A, trust, B, who kind of knows Star Wars or appreciates Star Wars, and then I found people since who I think, oh, thank God, because I think in the initial beginning, Sean was more or less responsible for. It's no one in particular, Devon. It's no one in particular, or if it is, I won't share their names yet until I get stuff from them because I don't want to scare them off. But it's what I mean is more members now who I may have collaborated with over completely separate projects. I tell them about it. I say, "Hey, do you want to take a crack at this?" And they come back with something. I'm like, "Wow, I should have gone with you from the beginning." So yeah, basically, I'm getting more people on board. It costs more money, but some people are just volunteering. It's great. The main things I need doing really is painting Asajj Ventress's face, um, some voice modulations, and this, that, and the other. But it's coming on nicely. That's my point. And I'll tell you what. In other Star Wars news, basically now that I've got this tiresome video finished on my MacBook Pro, the one that's been the bane of my existence. Um, the only real edit I've been working on like all year because the Mac was dying. Um, Now that that's finished, I can actually get started on my first Grand Moff talking video. Um, and that channel has reached the necessary subscriber count to be monetized. But the one thing it hasn't reached is the viewing hours. Viewers have to watch my videos for a certain amount of minutes to meet the criteria to be monetized. But we're getting close, and I think once I've done my Grand Moff talk, my first video in my Grand Moff talking video, I hopefully the channel will be monetized. One hand washes the other. Grandma, the proceeds from Grand Moff talking, even though I can do whatever the hell I want with it, what I want to do is fund and finish my micro series project. I'm very excited. It's gonna be my sort of as an editor, as a fan editor, and it won't be the last project I work on, but I guarantee it will be my calling card. And who knows where it will go? Maybe the likes of Filoni might see it, or have at least heard of it. Wouldn't that be amazing? Um, so yeah, Archive Video says, do you have any recommendations on how to learn video editing? First of all, you need to be passionate about it, which I assume you are if you're thinking about it, which is great. And the next thing is you need to start off on. I think you need to start off on basic softwares, basic apps. Basically, I don't mean this in a patronizing way, but I mean, look, when I got started, I used this really cheap editing software called Pinnacle. I think it was like Pinnacle 7 or something. It was like, what basically. Actually, you know what? I started off on Windows Movie Maker of all things, back when that was very simplistic. I used to make music videos of some of my favorite films, like Of Mice and Men. I added like a Seven Dust track to it. It was quite weird. So I started off, yeah, I'm self-taught. I started off with simplistic, basic video editing softwares, and from there you learn all the editing lingo. So you'll get an idea of like how a scene transition works. You put two clips next to each other, and at least as far as Pinnacle is concerned, you could drag a transition on top of both those touching clips, and the clip A would fade or wipe into clip B, and you're like, wow, and you sort of explore all the transitions, all the options, and then you'll get to learn about brightness, play with the brightness, increase it, decrease it, the contrast, mess around with colors, mess around with tint, mess around with hue, mess around with speed. Um, you need basic editing software just to play around with, and that's my advice too. So find something cheap. Don't pay for a software if you're going to spend a long time just getting to know it. Or equally, who knows? Maybe if you get a really good one and you have no idea what you're doing, you could just be thrown into the deep end. Maybe you'll have to learn quick. But it's funny because I'm self-taught. The lessons that I think anyone in a editing software course, the things they would have learned, like shortcuts, like on the keyboard, I missed all that. So I'm still learning things now. But you have to also give yourself a project to work on. So if you want to edit something from Star Wars, get the clips ready, um, and have an idea of what you want to do. And I think if you have in your mind what effect or uh, narrative you're going for, is it possible for you at that skill set to do? Uh, so, for instance, if I wanted a 3D animated Death Star for an edit, there's no chance I would know how. I don't know anything about 3D modeling. I'd have to hire someone for that, or I'd look online for a Death Star in front of a green screen. So start off with simple, like, okay, I want to combine these two scenes and swap out the music. Perfect. You'll learn all about dragging audio files on the track, dragging videos. And YouTube is a great way to know about the additional things, like how to add a earthquake effect or how to use green screen. YouTube has all these tutorials. Um, who knows? Maybe I'll do one. I mean, actually, I'm not organized to ever do one of these bloody things, but I'd love to do. I'd love to do a tutorial. But look for free apps to start off with. Play around with free apps, and once you're fairly comfortable with what an editing timetable looks like, and what effects you to expect, then maybe think about ones you may want to pay for. Me personally, I use the Adobe Online Suite. So I use Adobe Audition for audio, Premiere Pro for what do I use it for? I use it for everything. And I don't know much about After Effects, but I know that yeah, if I really wanted to give something a polish, I'd go on After Effects, and I tutorial how to get the effect I'm after. So yeah, that's my advice, my friend. You have to get a basic software like Pinnacle, like a cheap Pinnacle package. Make sure it's compatible with today's technology. And have some clips and an idea of what you'd like to do with them beforehand, and play around with them. What I like sometimes though, what I do is I find music that I want to edit in for a Star Wars edit. I'll find a track from a film and go, wow, this sounds so cool. Imagine if Star Wars used this. And then what I do is I actually try and find footage that may or may not go with that music, and it's a lot of fun. So in a lot of ways I improvise. But that's my advice, my friend, and I look forward to seeing what you produce. Devrin says, "Did I get an email from YouTube about something called Handle?" I did, I did. It's a weird one. So I believe YouTube handles are like a new way for people to find you quickly. So, for instance, if like if you wanted people to find you directly and you've been given the option of getting your YouTube handle and your customization and your custom URL, you could be at Devrin Hassan, at that little circle at. Devon Hassan, and that's it's kind of like Twitter in that sense. Um, so Crimson Moore told me about it, and unfortunately for him, he isn't able to get the at Crimson Moore because I think someone beat him to the punch, so he has to figure out something else. But with me, it's weird. YouTube keeps sending me emails, and but every time I go on that particular page, they go, "Oh, you're not ready for your handle yet. We'll let you know when you are." But equally, this is the weird thing. I wonder if I don't need a handle because I've already claimed it in a sense. Like, I was the first person on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think I am. I think I was the first person to come up with Star Wars Story. Which is why I have the URL, I might add. I have www.youtube.com/Star Wars Story. So I think if there is an at handle, I think it will automatically just be Star Wars Story regardless. But yeah, it's YouTube's changing. I think YouTube is quickly learning that people like short videos now. I mean, they're trying to compete with TikTok and Vine. Well, when Vine was the thing, but yeah, YouTube Shorts now. Imagine I start doing Star Wars Story Shorts, but no, that there's no. I'm not making 3 channels. No, I'm just gonna. It's a tough business to compete with. I like bombastic clips, right? I do, but at the same time, I'm thinking like the dude he just makes a video every day, just to say something, and I assume he gets ad revenue from it. But I tell you what's also, but I can't knock him for it because each of those like 10-second, 50-second videos or 30-second videos, they get thousands of views, more than my subscriber count, and it's insane. So I can't blame them for it. But it's YouTube. The platform is changing. I don't like it, but yeah, I think Star Wars Theory made a video about something like he's no longer monetized, which I don't know how to feel about that. No, it's sad. It's he doesn't really use copyrighted clips. He uses footage from Star Wars films, but he's talking over them. I believe it comes under the actor parody or whatever it is. When you change something so much, it's no longer the original source. So it's a weird one. But yeah, I don't know. It's YouTube, man. Archive video says, I agree how short videos are getting more popular as for a while around 2016, 2018. Long essay videos were really getting popular. So yeah, that's the thing, I think I'm more likely to click on a short video because I can spare the 10 seconds. I like Star Wars. Oh, what's this guy going to say about Star Wars? Boom, I'll put it down. I'll click on it. But I it's very rare this happens, but like if someone's done a video essay and it's like 20 minutes long, I love that shit. There's only a couple channels I subscribe to where the only reason I'm actually subscribed to them is because of their video essays. One is Vito on YouTube. He's very funny comedic presence. His name is Vito. He did a video called "Why the Rise of Skywalker Was a Cinematic Failure," and he got and everyone called him like a neckbeard nerd and oh you just hate female characters. He got so much shit because his video was just in like um he was just in the algorithm of YouTube. But actually, no, I think the video that made him famous was why The Last Jedi was the cinematic failure, and that's where I mean, even I saw that video and I was getting pissed off. I was like, why is everyone shit on Disney? Just give it a chance. But eventually, I gave him a chance. I thought, right, I'll give V. I want to hear what this asshole has to say, and I clicked on it, and I found it so fucking funny that he actually swayed my opinions on a couple of things from the sequels. So yeah, I'm more likely to click on a YouTube short, but I'm more likely to subscribe for video essays from particular channels. And Vito or the Internet Historian, he's another one. I subscribe to them for their video essays because I like to sit down and just watch their presentations. And also, the thing I like about an essay is it's. I think that they're a lot harder to fake. See, the thing about a YouTube short is you could people can invent a reason why they happen to be making this video. Oh, a thought came to me today. I noticed something about the TIE fighter in this episode of Andor, and it's kind of like, no, I see what you're doing. You're just trying to stay relevant. But video essays, that's more like, right, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna script this thing. I really want to share my thoughts. They are important to me. I really want to, I've done my homework. I'm gonna make it easy on the eyes. I'm looking forward to So I appreciate that hard work in that retrospect. And with the Grand Moff Talking channel, I think you know what, it might be a mixture of both. I may do clips, but I guarantee those clips will be part of an originally longer sequence, and then everyone's happy. I suppose I'm taking a page out of Bombastic's book. The only difference is I'm not going to make I'm not going to make Grand Moff talking and talking shorts. Fuck that. But do you know what I mean? I'm gonna play to the masses. um, I'm so excited. I finally got this fucking video done. It's taken me months, and it's gonna be out of sight, out of mind. What is it called? Where is it? Okay. Woohoo! Let me read these comments from you lovely folk. What do I think of the two recent ARC recolors? You know what? The problem is, my dear friend Devon, is that I you've done so many, I lose track. Or have you just sent it now? Let me see. Let me fire up Discord because I don't go on this bloody thing anymore. Where did you? You need to share them to me. You need to share them to me. You've done quite a few. You've recolored the arcs in Hyporian things, but I've seen so many. It's like, is there a new one or new scene or new clip? I can't remember, my guy. You know me. My brain is scrambled eggs. You're gonna have to send me a reminder, my guy. Archive Videos says for me, I was hesitant to watch Star Wars Rebels. I watch Artur. Yes, I believe you've sent me a link to Artur. I've watched some of his stuff. He's not bad, he's not bad. And it convinced me to watch it for the first time, and it made me really love and appreciate the series. Devon says, to be honest, his headcanon, the sequels never happened, and Return of the Jedi is a true happy ending of the Skywalker era. And Devon also says that he was also glad to point out the differences between the D17 hand pistols that Rex uses and the D17S pistols that Fordo uses. And I gotta agree. That helps because I thought Fordo... Yeah, it's weird. So Captain Fordo has custom pistols. So Devon, I'm just looking at the image now, Devon. You've done this scene before. Maybe a different frame, but you've definitely done this scene before. So that's why they all kind of dissolve in together. But I mean, yeah, as far as your color corrections go, they're quite cool, man. I love that you've introduced green arcs to the micro series because I think that's one thing it was lacking, and it's definitely given me some inspiration. Let's see. Uh, yep. So appreciate that, my guy. Oh yeah. But I'll tell you what's funny, that the high pori scene in the micro series is gonna be one of the most expensive changes I need to make to the micro edit ever. And the reason why is because I need to fix Kai Adi Mundi's mustache. He doesn't have a mustache. In the micro series, for some reason, he has like these he has like a handlebar mustache coming out his cheeks, so it's like a weird beard. But his trademark beard mustache is shaved, and the mustache is missing, and it just isn't him. And I just yeah, I'm gonna have to pay someone to painstakingly, frame by frame, fix this error. So yeah, look forward to that one. But yeah, I'm glad that you know what my room is notorious for bad signal. So I think whenever I do my next movie stream or even this, I might just go to my I might just bite the bullet and walk into my university because we got a 24-hour library. Um, and just do it there. But again, I don't even know what the signal's like there. I don't know if I'd have to be wired in or what the story, but we shall see. But yeah, I want to be. I think the next movie. Well, here's the thing. So, um, Crimson Mall made the very good. What did he make? He made. What did he make? He made Revenge of the Revenge of the Sith 4 hour cut, and it's fantastic. The turnout, I got to be honest with you, and I mean this. I don't mean this in any disrespectful way, but there were far too few people there, which surprised me. But I wonder whether it was because it wasn't. It's not a film you could just watch on Disney Plus. Maybe it's because you were expected to download it in advance. Maybe that's right. But I don't know whether I want to do a live watch party of Revenge of the Sith because we've done Crimson's 4 hour version. So do we need to do it twice? That's the question. Um, but yeah, but I think the next film uh, before episode 4 would be Crimson Mall's Kenobi, a Star Wars story film. That's going to take place before episode 4, obviously. For two reasons. First of all, I'm proud to say I'm a part of this project, although Crimson is behind the wheel. He gets the final say in things, but it's you know what? Even though I've seen the rough cuts 1,000 times, I genuinely get excited for it. I do. I think like I just it's the 6 episodes combined and put into a great presentation, and it's a film. And when the series came out, it felt like it should have been the film, especially at the end when you see Kenobi and Qui-Gon. I felt like this is Star Wars Episode 3.5, and Crimson has fixed that. And I know there's some guy on YouTube. Well, not you. Well, maybe he's on YouTube, but there was some guy who did it first, right? He combined them all, and I haven't actually watched his version yet, but everyone was singing its praises, and he got quite famous for that. Good for him, good for him. But I have a good feeling about ours because we're not only just cutting the films and putting them together. We've actually adding new scenes, uh, new cameos, new objects and references. It just I get excited about it. I actually feel like it's mine, like it's my edit, even though it isn't. You know what I mean? Just because I've contributed what 10% to it. I don't know. It's just there were moments in it where I go, God, I'm so proud to be even associated with this fan edit. Jeez. Uh, so it feels good. And yeah, I will when it does come out. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait to hear what you guys think of it because it will blow you away. Simple as that. I'm gonna read these comments. Just give me a second. Um, let's read these comments. I need to get a drink, man. I'm thirsty. Devon, yeah. Our tour is great. I try. It's weird, you know. I try not to. It's very rare though that I subscribe to anyone new because I think I subscribed to so many Star Wars channels in the beginning that I kind of got Star Wars fatigue. I was tired of seeing like 8 different channels talk about the same thing that just came out. Like, you know, a Bad Batch episode would just come out, and then somebody would say, and then I'd see a video going, "What happened immediately after this episode?" And it's like, dude, you don't know that. Like, you've just watched it. How would you possibly? You don't work with Lucasfilm, so you got that, and then of course you got these theory videos like, you know, why did this droid blow himself up? Oh, I think it's because he was like Vader's secret lover. It's just like, what? And then like just spam. And the worst thing is, I hate when people do this. They project their opinions as facts. Like Vader say, like they'll say something like Vader killed this guy because it reminded him of his mum, or reminds him of a bad trip at the supermarket when he was 3, and it all came back, and I can just tell that Vader was thinking, and it's like, just shut the fuck up. Like, say in your opinion, I believe that would earn my respect a lot more. In my opinion, I think, or I believe, but no, people just go, this happened because, and I'll tell you why, because I know it myself personally. Uh, yeah, so I got Star Wars fatigue, so I don't really like explainer videos anymore. Uh, and you know what's funny? Like I'm still subscribed to Star Wars Explained because I think he may have not been the first. He may have been, I don't know, but he's definitely like explaining Star Wars was definitely his sort of thing first, and people copy him now. People always, I'm maybe I'm guilty of this. I can't remember, but people have definitely put in their videos Star Wars Explained at the end, even though that's their trademark, you know. So I stay subscribed to them. But yeah, so hey, King 5942, better late than never, my friend. Devon says we could keep the white OP prototype armor for Grievous on Hypori, and it's equally been monitored by Sidious. And after his armor is damaged, Sidious contacts Dooku to lessen his skills in case he's a threat to his plans, and also in case Dooku uses Grievous to overthrow Sidious. Possibly. I don't know if I would go as far as the Sidious watching thing, because that would be a shitload of additional dialogue, additional scenes, additional animation. But the idea of General Grievous appearing on Hypori with clean armor plating, and then by the end, his armor is dirty, cracked, burnt, and has that more familiar yellowy bone color. Yeah, totally behind that. And that would save me a shitload of cash. I like the headcanon thing though. That Sidious felt threatened by Grievous. I don't know if I don't know personally if it would stand because. Well, I don't know. I was going to say. Well, the thing is, Grievous isn't force sensitive, so I think Sidious knows deep down, no matter how skilled a swordsman Grievous is, he could always just force choke his lungs or something, you know, or shoot him with lightning. Grievous cannot use the force. I think if Grievous was force sensitive, as they'd hoped he would be in Legends, that would be scary. But that is what Darth Vader is, a force sensitive Grievous. That's what he is. I didn't like that they changed Grievous's backstory in canon. The Legends story was cool, and it was reminiscent of Anakin. In the Legends comic, Grievous fought for his home planet, the same way Anakin fought for the Republic. And Grievous even had like a partner, not in crime, but like a sister in arms, and she died. And then he sort of prayed to his gods that he could revive her, and they refused. and then he sort of went on like this vengeance, and the Jedi wouldn't help his planet, so he resented the Jedi, and then Dooku sort of betrays him and blows him up in a ship, and blames the Jedi for saying it like they planted the bomb, and then Sam Hill or Newt Gunray or whoever it is, or what Tom, but I can't remember who, but somebody, they modify Grievous. So kind of like Vader against his will, Grievous gets robotic limbs, arms, and even has his brain tampered with to be more obedient and forget his roots. I loved that Legends origin, but instead Filoni, and I can't squarely blame Filoni because I wonder if George Lucas approved this or gave the go ahead, because he was heavily behind the Clone Wars. Um, Canon Grievous chose his his robotic parts now. That's what he did. Although I suppose you could argue that maybe he just thinks that's the case. Maybe he was manipulated into thinking he chose these upgrades. Uh, but he, it's implied like he just, there's statues of him, and I think season one of the Clone Wars in his lair. And you see you see as the statues, as you go from statue to statue, that he started swapping out his arms with mechanical stuff, and it's less of he becomes less like Anakin in that sense, because he chooses to cut himself off. And I think there's only one canon comic where you see Grievous without the mask, and it's like it's in a vision. He has a vision. Uh, Yeah, so like for instance, Devon just sent me a link saying why Darth Sidious was always afraid of General Grievous. That's a fair thing then. But again, this is why like I no longer subscribe to the Stupendous Wave, because again I get Star Wars fatigue. Like I don't know if like it's a I'm sure it has compelling arguments, but like I think Stupendous Wave and many others have done countless videos where it's like why this character was afraid of this character, and for me, I don't believe them. As in, I have to see it on film, or I don't believe it. I don't trust the source. It's like I keep seeing videos saying like why Qui-Gon Jinn was the only Jedi Palpatine feared. And it's like, feared, is that really the correct word? Maybe resented, or, Palpatine, you know what I mean? It's why Qui-Gon was secretly afraid of Plo Koon's yellow force lightning from Jedi power battles. You know what I mean? It's like, why this Jedi was secretly heterosexual or homosexual or whatever. It's just, theory videos that masquerade as fact. I'm just gonna get a drink. Bear me 1 second, my friends. I just want to. My throat is getting dry from all this waffle. And by waffle, I'm talking in a metaphysic. I'm talking metaphorically. I don't literally mean I've ate a waffle. Give me 1 second. There you go. I don't know how healthy it is to drink water from your bedroom bathroom tap, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. By the way, I apologise about my voice. I'm getting a cold or something. I'm coming down with something. It's horrible. Maybe it's COVID. Who knows? Uh, Devon, thank you for those things. I will check them out though, because Grievous does interest me. King5942 says, I didn't know you go to start later than expected. Neither did I, my friend. Neither did I. I apologise. Yes. But hey, I'm glad you can make it. You know what's funny? It's probably like for people on continent European time zones. It's the later I start, the less likely they are to watch. But I think most of my subscribers are American, so for them, it's probably a blessing that they'll be out of school or just finishing work when I do a late one. So it's there were some positives. King is reminding us that there is Tales of the Jedi next week. I am so excited for Tales of the Jedi, even though I know that the runtime is tiny. It's short. It's one of the episodes is only 14 minutes. I really wish they were Clone Wars or Bad Batch uh, length. You know, like half an hour, or is it 20 minutes or 25 minutes? I don't know. I really wish that the episodes were longer because I think we're watching two stories. We watch Ahsoka and Dooku, the two ends of the Jedi spectrum. You've got Dooku who left the Order because he became corrupted and didn't like how the Jedi conducted themselves. And you got Ahsoka who had to leave the Order because the Jedi were corrupted, and she didn't want to be corrupted herself. You know, so you've got Dooku the Dark and Ahsoka the Light, and it's interesting to see the Master and the Padawan's journeys. But what I'm most excited for is, if I'm not mistaken, there are some pre the Clone Wars movie clips or footage. Like for instance, Obi-Wan has his Jedi mullet in he has his episode 2 mullet. But one thing I don't see, and this is really I hope this doesn't obliterate like the volume 1 portion of the Clone Wars manga series, but Anakin doesn't seem to ever have his Padawan ponytail or his Padawan braids anymore. It looks like they're going straight to his short, spiky hair like he has in the Clone Wars movie. So I don't get it. Why does he have such a quick haircut? You know, I don't know. Uh, King also says, speaking of Disney Plus, Spider-Man, the new animated series, and Spectacular Spider-Man dropped a couple of days ago. I haven't really watched too many. I haven't really watched that many. I never even watched the original Spider-Man uh, animated series in the 90s, but I know that's on Disney Plus. I need to watch that sometime. But I'll tell you what's weird is, isn't there a Spider-Man series with Drake Bell voicing Spider-Man? And if that's the case, obviously he's in big trouble with Hollywood at the moment for grooming some underage or almost of age person, and so I think his career's pretty much over. But he voiced Peter Parker in one of them, I'm sure. So it's that's interesting. Devon says, apparently it will be cool to see a Tales of the Sith version where we get to see a younger Maul. That would be cool, my friend. That actually would be pretty cool. Hopefully seeing more of his skills of the Force and how he possibly killed more Jedi. Which is why he is overconfident. Look, it is plausible that he has killed Jedi before Qui-Gon Jinn. But equally, the only danger with that is the whole point of him is the Sith were a secret up in that the Jedi thought the Sith were extinct for over 1,000 years. So if we do get to see young Maul and he does get to kill a Jedi, I can imagine it would be a situation where they never found out the origins of it. So it'd be more of a stealth kill or something. But actually, you know what? You know what I'd like to see brought into canon? There's an old comic book which I think even in Legends terms wasn't canon anyway. I don't know. But there was a comic book which I actually owned where it shows how Darth Maul crafts his double-bladed lightsabers. And what he does is I think he's hunting a Jedi, the same species as Kit Fisto, I believe. I'm not sure if he's a Jedi or just a Force sensitive, but this Jedi, if I'm remembering correctly, doesn't even have a lightsaber, but he's so quick and fast with the Force that he's able to get to best Maul easily. He just hits him with a stick. And Maul's, cut, his lips bleeding, his nose is bleeding, and he's battered, and he retreats because he overestimated himself and underestimated the Jedi and the Jedi speed. So he knows he has to be crafty. So he feed one Darth Jar Jar. I thought I saw your comment then, Healed. So Maul makes his twin-bladed lightsaber, and then he faces off against his Green Jedi again. And then at the very last minute, he gets the shit kicked out of him again. He activates the second blade and surprises the Jedi, and it's like that's how it becomes his trademark thing. So I'd love to see that Tales of the Sith or Secrets of the Sith, maybe. I don't know, something like that. That sounds cool. But yeah, there should be a dark side version of Tales of the Jedi. And especially because of the duration of the show. I mean, one of the episodes is fucking 14 minutes. They are literally shorts. So hopefully, because they're shorts, they can produce more. That's what I like. King says, I wish Anakin used his Attack of the Clones appearance in the Clone Wars instead of his armor outfit, which should have been used in season 2. Yeah, I agree. I wish we saw more of that change. It's almost like they don't want to acknowledge his Attack of the Clones appearance. I hope I'm wrong. I hope when Tales of the Jedi comes out and we see Obi-Wan with his Episode 2 mullet, we'll also see Attack of the Clones styled Anakin. Who knows? There may be a canon reference to when he gets knighted. Perhaps we'll see Yoda quickly chop off his ponytail and it's like, Knight of the Republic you are, or something. So I hope to see that. Or, basically, I'm most anxious about what it's going to do to the canon of Star Wars. What it's going to write or rewrite. Who knows? It would be nice to see how Anakin got his scar. We never saw that. Between Attack of the Clones and a few weeks into the Clone Wars, Anakin has his scar. He has his eye scar before he even meets Ahsoka. So who gave it to him? I think Dave Filoni said in the past that he regrets not creating that situation. In Legends, it was towards Revenge of the Sith where he actually gets it. Just before Revenge of the Sith, Anakin kills Ventress. He wraps her in like some cables using the Force, and I think she knows about he and Padme, and he just, he's like, this is dark Anakin at this point. He just shocks her. Well, he using the cables, he shocks her, and she plummets to her supposed death. And it's cool that that's how he gets the scar. So I hope not anyway. I don't think Dave would ever. I don't think he would replace Ventress giving him the scar with a different reason or person. But he might change the situation. So Ventress might give him the scar, but Anakin might already be in his blue robes, or something like that. So we'll see. Excuse me 1 second. Excuse me. I have a horrible cold. I'm coming down with something. I feel sick. Horrible. Not sure if you've seen the Darth Maul Apprentice fan film, but I recommend watching it because he gets to kill more Jedi and explains why he overestimated himself and underestimated everyone. I think I've seen it. I have seen it. I need to review it. There's so many fan films that I've seen and I love, and I have meant to review but never have. But I tell you what, I'm glad I haven't reviewed them because this this channel isn't monetized, so it's. Yeah, in a way, it would be wasted. I need to fund these videos. Oh yeah, speaking of which, the part you all love, the favorite part of the night, the part that you've all grown to resent. I'm going to drop a link to the Clone Wars microseries edit GoFundMe, because we're hiring more and more artists, and these artists are bringing the channel project one step closer to completion. But it costs a shitload of money, and every time I run out of cash, but in other words, I have to slow things down. Once I reach like the bottom of my bank account, I have to whoever I've hired, I have to say, right, after this, I'll let you know when I next need you, and everything slows, man. It sucks. But for the donations I have received, they have helped. They've tremendously helped. And those that have donated, I've actually seen some sneak peeks, including one that I'm going to show, I think, at Christmas. I'm really excited about it. It's we've added a new ship to the micro series, it better fits the timeline. So yeah, exciting stuff. Sip of water. But I have seen the Darth Maul uh, fan film. I've seen a few Darth Maul fan films actually. One of my favorite Star Wars fan films of all time is Contract of Evil. That's what it's called, and it was like I think it came out just after Phantom Menace came out, and everyone was so hyped over Darth Maul. And it was it was about it's about like two aliens who kind of look like Darth Maul. I don't know. I don't even know if they're meant to be his species or not. But they're like these horned, sentient dark side users who think they're the true Sith. They're brothers, so it's almost like the original Darth Maul and Savage Opress brothers storyline. They kill like another one of their kin or something, and they're like, yeah, they're pretty much screaming to the galaxy like, send us more warriors. And then Darth Maul arrives because he thinks they are an insult to the Sith bloodline, and he wants to make it pure again. And it's two against one, but it's cool. It's fantastic. The choreography's cool. It's dated, I think it's like what 2001 fan film, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything that that seems contradictory to Star Wars. Like some fan films would make a real bold claim, like Anakin did this in his spare time, or this is how he got the scar, or that. And it's fine. But some fan editors like myself, when we see fan films, we think, could this actually replace the original? Is it plausible for the timeline? And this one is. Like if you said to me that this is canon, this Contract of Evil is canon, and it takes place just before Phantom Menace by a couple of years or something, I'd say, you know what? There's nothing to contradict that. Perfect. Archive. Yes, Devon remembers it. Darth Maul fighting two other Zabraks like him, but fake Sith, and they refer to him as a pup. Yeah, exactly. It's pretty cool. Archived video says Maul was the Boba Fett of the time, a person that has very little screen time but comes off as really cool. Yes, and I suppose one of the reasons why is less is more. If Maul was more talkative, I wonder if he would have gone down as well. But also, I wonder if Lucas regretted killing him off at the end of the Phantom Menace. Not that he ever did truly. Even before Disney, there was speculation he was alive, and there was a couple of comics where he was either cloned or resurrected, or he just survived. It was never concrete, but yeah, a lot of people couldn't understand why they killed him off so soon. He could have been the main villain under Palpatine until Anakin replaces him at the end. But no, I personally think I think it was good in the end that we had three different villains, but before Palpatine, you had Maul, who represents Anakin's hatred. You got Grievous, Anakin, the cybernetic warlord, and then of course you got Dooku, Anakin, and the Jedi. King says, "Am I going to get the Lego the Lego Skywalker Saga Galactic Edition on Black Friday?" Probably, because yeah, I've avoided Lego Star Wars games for a while now because I know for a fact that I could get lost in them. I could, because I'm a completionist. I want every single bloody achievement, and yeah, I can imagine get lost in it. But so I've kind of avoided the Lego Star Wars games, just like I avoid playing Red Dead Redemption and things like that. But yeah, I think I will get this one because it's yeah, because I enjoy all 9 of the Star Wars films in their own way. And also, if it's got some DLC, it's pretty cool. I wonder if you can design your own characters, though. Can you design your own characters, or do they have to be an established Star Wars character? Uh, in the Clone Wars, was Maul being resurrected a Lucas or Filoni decision? I have a feeling that for big things like that, whoever's whoever's decision it would be, no matter what, it would have to be finalized by Lucas. So rather than, I can't imagine Dave Filoni saying, George, we're doing this. What I can imagine is Dave, if George hasn't said it himself, if George doesn't go, well, I was thinking, it's like poetry, it rhymes. We're going to bring, how would you feel about Darth Maul coming back? That was a terrible impression. If Lucas didn't suggest it himself first, I can imagine Dave would have just asked him, what would you think about this as a concept? And yeah, but I'm sure it's been answered. I think there's some behind the scenes clips on YouTube. There's a guy called there's a channel called Mr. Anderson 2000 or 9000 or something like that. Mr. Anderson something. He has most, if not all, of the behind the scenes documentaries or commentaries, and I'm sure that includes Maul's resurrection. Uh, King says you can customize your character in the OG level games, but you couldn't in this game, unfortunately. But they might in a new update soon. I hope so. That would be cool. I wonder why they haven't. I suppose maybe they don't want to. They don't want to overcomplicate anything. But I might buy the old Lego games. I'm kind of glad that I never bought them on PlayStation because PS2 never had trophies. So it's nice that I can do that. If I get like the Xbox ones that were remastered for 360, good. I can get the I can get the trophies, and maybe I can do some Star Wars story plays Lego Star Wars. Boom, why not? Uh, but anyway, but yeah, I'm most excited for Tales of the Jedi. Uh, I don't know how to feel about She-Hulk. She-Hulk. Does anyone watch She-Hulk? I've wanted to watch it because I keep seeing such bad reviews. I feel like it's a major Marvel TV show, if that makes sense. Like good or bad, it's one you shouldn't miss. I gave it a try, and I think a lot of the parts people didn't like, I didn't necessarily mind. It's really funny. I didn't hate the twerking scene, but I didn't like it either. But I don't know. I kind of thought. I think if I was if I didn't like the twerking scene, it isn't because like I think if I stayed away from the internet and watched it, I might have found it funny. But since everyone's saying like, "Wow, I can't believe some writers, directors, producers okayed this." You know what I mean? Like, they planted that seed in my head that now when I watch it, I go, God, this is really weird. But yeah, I don't know. It's got its moments. That's what I'd say. Honestly, it has its moments. But I tell you what, I'm not a fan of. I am not a fan of the fourth wall breaks. Now, I know that she did that in the comics, so I can't even knock the show for that. But I mean, look, Deadpool, right? Deadpool. That he's like, I believe, the first on-screen Marvel character to have an open discussion with we, the audience, a fourth wall break. It even if She-Hulk did that too, it's more well known that that's Deadpool's shtick. So when when she did it too, I was kind of like, I felt like there was. I mean, you never see any fourth wall breaks in the MCU, do you? There were some not subtle jokes and nods and Easter eggs, but yeah, just no in the not the MCU in the mutant cinematic universe. You got Deadpool, and he makes jokes about the different the timelines and how they have prequel actors and sequel actors. And it's funny because the other characters just think he's insane and don't understand what he's talking about. But to see She-Hulk talking to us, I was kind of like, well, okay, I'm not 100% a fan, but it's not enough to turn me off the show. Until the last episode, I'm not gonna, I was bummed out by the finale. I won't spoil the finale, although you should have seen it by now, surely, because it's been out for plenty of days. But as far as breaking the fourth wall goes, it was like the most. It was more broken than I think Deadpool's done. If that makes sense. I don't know. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Like, oh fuck it. I am gonna spoil it for the next 30 seconds. I'm gonna spoil She-Hulk. So mute this if you haven't seen the finale yet. But no, the end where she spoke to the robot that controls the Marvel TV series, and the fact that she breaks into the Disney Plus main menu and changes the ending. We were going to see a fight between Hulk and the Abomination, and basically she just literally undid all that, and it's like, wait, why do you like? How are we supposed to take her character seriously if she doesn't? You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing that pisses me. Like, look, women have a harder time in action films. I think they always get dealt a shit hand. Every time they try and look tough, people go, "Ooh, feminism." It's not the same. Oh, it's lesser. It's you know what I mean. It's like, and hard. Most of the time they're right, but no. But I feel like people don't give people like a lot of people don't give female fighters a chance in like look, Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel. I I thought it was underwhelming personally, but I didn't sit there from the start of the film going, I don't like this because she's trying to be all feminine and masculine at the same time. No, fuck that. I didn't give a shit about that. And it was the same with She-Hulk. Look, if she wants to, if we've got a comedic MCU TV show about a female lawyer who has superpowers but also cares about dating, fine, bring it on. Good. I think that it makes more sense that I suppose she would do that than if we saw Bruce Banner, his dating life in the series. Do you know what I mean? It's like Sex in the City meets the MCU. Fine, bring it on. It's quite funny in some of its parts, but then when that finale where it's like they're aware that they're in a fictional. It's kind of like, what the fuck? So are we supposed to give her the same respect we would WandaVision or the Hawkeye TV show or what's that one? Or Captain America and the Winter Soldier or whatever it's called. Do you know what I mean? Like with those, whether you like the shows or not, they took themselves seriously enough that you think, you know what, this is a continuation after Avengers Endgame. You know what I mean? It's canon. It's canon. But with this, when it's going, oh look, we've actually changed the ending in the middle of the fight. Oh, we've scrapped. It's like, do you want to be canon or not? It's uh, so yeah, I feel like it shot itself in the foot. It's kind of like the Matrix Four. In the Matrix Four, in the beginning of the film, it makes references to the original Matrix, which is fine. Every sequel reboot type thing does that. They always go, "Hey, do you remember? Look, we've done a deja vu of the original Matrix. Fine. It's kind of funny that they're doing a scene by scene play recreation, but then like it took me out the film where the Matrix. referenced Warner Bros. Going like, "Oh man, Warner Bros. Wants to do a reboot," and it's like, what the fuck? No, don't say. Great, that's all I think about now is the fact that I'm watching a reboot. Uh, from my comments, you will get the whole story of Lego Star Wars that led to this. You can customize your character. Wait, from my comment, you will get the whole story of Lego Star Wars that led to this. What are you referring to, my friend? Are you saying I'll experience all the Lego Star Wars games in the Skywalker Saga one, or are you or are you asking, am I going to get it because of your Black Friday comments? Because it's a good reminder. Yeah, I think you've definitely sort of encouraged me to purchase it. I forgot about Black Friday. I usually get something every year. What I would like is a 4K TV. I don't even need a 4K TV, but the reason I want one is because I purchased from Amazon Prime Bram Stoker's Dracula, but I purchased it in 4K by accident instead of 1080, which is fine. But the problem is because my TV isn't 4K technically, the colours smear slightly. So I'm not getting the best viewing look, and it's just the next step in televisions, isn't it? And once I've got 4K, that's it. I will never need an 8K or however many Ks a TV can bring. So, yeah. So that's yeah. Black Friday this year, though, the Lego Star Wars game. That's what I think. That's what I think. Oh my goodness, my throat's taken a beating. I've definitely got COVID or something. What I need to check my home COVID kit. That's what I need to do. Make sure I've not got the, basically to find out whether I'm if I'm going into uni next week or not. But yeah, that's a good question. How many people? How many people are still tuned in listening to my Friday night waffle? Let's have a look. If I can just load the bloody thing. 3 watching. 3. It's one quiet numbers today, folks. But you know what? It's the same 3. It's my same 3 pals. The 3 amigos. You got Devrin, King, 5942, Archive Videos. You guys are the MVPs as always. Another question there is, are you all in the Discord server as well? I know Devrin is, but everyone has a different alias in Discord, but I lose track of who's who in there. So yeah, are you guys present? That's what I want to know. Because you should join. We have a Wednesday movie night where we for those that have donated to the micro series. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Speaking of my week though, I turned 30 on Monday, which is it's a weird feeling. It's a weird feeling being 30. A 30-year-old Star Wars subscriber. It's oh yeah, that's a good point, Devon. I will resend the Discord link. Simple as boop. Let's have a look. There you go. Haha. Yeah. No. Daily Star's victorious letters beamed onto the Parliament as Truss gets moving ban. Wow. Yeah. We've lost our Prime Minister. She's quit. Within a month. She said in Parliament, she said, I am a fighter, I'm not a quitter. And then she quit. Good. Glad she did. Personally, I would have never quit. it's funny. Like she was off to a horrendous start, but if I was in her position and like I and like the British public lost confidence in me and I'd sunk the value of the pound. In my mind I'd be like, right, it can only go up from here, right? I need to fix this shit. Because look, she's quit right after a month, and that's her legacy now. She's going to be known as the shortest, like the record for shortest prime minister, shittest prime minister, all that. If she'd stayed on, uh, at least she could have done some good, and maybe she would have been remembered for something more positive. But no, she was shy. She was shy. She pledged to build like I think like thousands of homes or hundreds of homes, and she hadn't even built one. She got caught in an interview. It's like, how many have you started since the thing 5 years ago or 2 years ago or something? And it's like, well, I can tell you right now, the answer's zero. You've built zero. Fucking Tories, man. Fuck off, Tories. Uh, but yeah, no, I'm 30 now. I was 30 on Monday, and yeah, I can't even pretend to be a child anymore. It's I'm like, well, I'm a 30-year-old boy. Let's be clear. I'm not a man. I'm a 30-year-old boy, but it's it's a weird one. It makes you reflect on life and things you want to get done. And you know what I want to get done? The first thing I want to get done is to finish this fucking canon edition, recanonized edit. That's what I'm thinking of calling it now, the recanonized edit, because it used to be canon in a sense, and it should be canon again. But yeah, once I get that done, I can then focus on. Well, I can just focus on me. But no, we will see. Who knows where we'll be a couple of years from now? Maybe I'll finally have this streaming thing down without hiccup. Uh, Devon has reminded me of that. Tom Baker once said, "There's no point of being grown if you can't be childish." Yeah, there's no point of being grown if you can't be childish. Sometimes, I love Tom Baker. Most people know him through Doctor Who, and he was actually in Star Wars Rebels. He voiced the Bendu. But I remember him most from Little Britain, which is an old British sketch comedy show, which there's no way they would fly now because some of the jokes are probably inappropriate. But Tom Baker was the narrator, and he'd introduce each act like, and it's like, and now we've come to Wales, and I mean that sounds nothing like in my head. Like this week in Wales, Andy Pipkin has got he'd just be the voice, but he'd say some funny shit. But yeah, he was. It's cool that he went from Doctor Who to Star Wars, and the other person that was supposed to come from Doctor Who to Star Wars was Matt Smith. Matt Smith, who played Doctor Who, was meant to be young clone Palpatine in Rise of Skywalker, but they just sort of they scrapped his scenes. They either cut them or just never filmed them. I think they filmed them. David Tennant, who played Doctor Who, or the villain in Goblet of Fire, he played the droid in Star Wars Clone Wars, the droid that helps the Jedi Padawans build their lightsabers in the Clone Wars. So that's at least three Doctor Who doctors who have transferred over to a galaxy far, far away, which is cool. It's a nice little crossover. I wonder. There's got to be someone who's ticked all the boxes, right? Someone who's been in Star Wars, Doctor Who, Star Trek, and perhaps another like well-known sci-fi. I wonder if it's who's the guy from Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead? Simon Pegg. Would it be Simon Pegg? Because he's been in a few J.J. Abrams films. He was in Star Trek as one of them. I've never seen any of the Star Treks, but he was also in. He was also in Star Wars. He played the person who is more or less Rey's owner, like this for what you've brought me today. I'll give you 1/4 portion. So yeah, it's yeah, he might have got the hat trick. Just like who was the person who voiced Mulan in the film, in the cartoon. She voiced Mulan, and she was in see, she was in something else, and she played Boba Fett's bounty hunter sidekick. So her, yeah, she's done like what they call the magical trinity, whatever it is, whatever the criteria is. Um, Quite funny. But yeah, no, I'm a 30-year-old kid and I don't care. That's that's one thing you need to that's one thing you need to figure out, guys. Don't grow up just because others do around you. No, be yourself. Be if you're into shit, if you're into like these these hobbies or these nerdy geeky things that would make you unpopular in high school, but popular amongst certain groups of friends. Fuck it, go for it. Play Dungeons and Dragons or collect trains or play with trains. Well, those people who play with trains. Go to you like chess club. Fuck it, good. Glad you like chess. You know what I mean? Uh, it's yeah, don't change. Um, it's yeah. I'm 30 years young. That's how I see it. Or maybe I'm just in denial. Maybe I'm just. I might just tell people I'm 29. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell people I'm 29. And I'm going to do this for the next 10 years. And the reason why is because I can't even grow a beard like very well. I mean, I've been told that I look younger than I am. So even though I dress like I'm 60, I will. Uh, I'm gonna tell people for the next 10 years I'm 29. About it when I become 40, I'm gonna announce I'm 30. And maybe then they'll look at my face and go, oh yeah, that seems about right. So I will take it. I don't know what's going on with the thumbnail. Why is the thumbnail of this video like tiny? It shrunk. Usually it fills the screen, right? I don't know. But hey, it's a Friday night hangout. So no, that'd be cool. I look forward to playing the Skywalker Saga game. This is one of the other reasons I didn't rush to purchase it, is because of the bugs. Whenever a new game comes out, I don't want all the bugs and issues that they need to fix. I need them to fix it before I purchase. And that's what I wait for. I wait for like the first patch or the first update. And boom, there you go. It's more enjoyable. Devon asks, you know that snow planet that Anakin and Obi-Wan... Sorry, oh yeah, sorry. Sorry. You know that snow planet that Anakin and Obi-Wan were. Oh no, sorry. I'm misreading this. It's my fucking dyslexia. Let me try one more time. You know that snow planet that Anakin and Obi-Wan, where Anakin has his final trial. Do you think the clones should have snow trooper armor? Devron, fantastic suggestion. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, that could be interesting. I'm gonna have to repaint their armor anyway, because I think unless Tales of the Jedi clinches it for me, I think I want it before the Battle of Christophsis. Therefore, all the clones need to be in their Phase 1 armor. But if Tales of the Jedi, if Tales of the Jedi make it so I can't have it before Christophsis, then I'll have them in the Phase 2 armor still. But yeah, snow armor. That's not a bad suggestion. I would argue it's the planet isn't as inhospitable as like Hoth though. So, but yeah, I could totally see that. The clones have done that before. Yeah, you know what, Devon? Fantastic suggestion. I will definitely look into that because the micro series also has inconsistencies, even the original drawing. So like their version of Phase 2 clone troopers look more like stormtroopers with like the antenna than the actual Phase 2 clone troopers. So I was thinking of redressing them anyway, fixing the faces, so to speak. And also, I need to repaint the armor on Coruscant so that most of them are red Coruscant guards. So yeah, snow armor. Yeah, that seems doable. Could easily do that. That sounds pretty cool. I might, yeah. That would be. That's a. You know what, Devon, that is. You think of everything, my guy. You do. Your attention to detail is immaculate. No, no need, because remember when Werewolf and Plo Koon found Cypher Deus's lightsaber? Yes, I remember that. Are they wearing? They're wearing ponchos, if I'm not mistaken, right? Is that they wear like? So they wear the normal armor, but with ponchos. And actually, at the beginning of the Clone Wars micro series, in the montage, you do see clones in ponchos anyway, fighting on a rainy planet. Um, yeah, it's yeah. Maybe I'll just give them ponchos over it. It could be cool. That's a great idea, all round. I like it. Or are you saying no need, as in I shouldn't give them any snowtrooper armor? What are you saying, my guy? What's the plan with the snowtrooper armor? In or out? Ah, so they do wear. Okay, well, great. Well, at least I have references to work on then. Work with. Oh, that's a great idea, honestly. You give me a lot to think about. This project in the end is probably going to just look completely different. Like I'm giving Anakin a haircut because even his hair in the micro series is longer than it ever was in Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, no, that's a great one. If you come up with any more suggestions, DM me on Discord. It's a fantastic thing. I like the clone troopers different thing. I'm also happy that Shore troopers in Andor finally returned after Rogue One, and they're basically stormtroopers, but for the beach. But it's interesting that you never see them in A New Hope on Tatooine. But I suppose the thing about shore troopers is they're by the shore, and Tatooine does not have any shores anymore. Otherwise, yeah. So I guess it's not just about hot weather. Uh, let's see. Wait. Devon is saying no. Phase 1 armor. They should have Phase 2 armor before Yabana. Yes, but again, this is whether I want to do the Nelvon arc before Yabana or not. For all I know, the Nelvon arc is before Christophsis. That's where my mind's at the moment. I've heard plenty of reasons why it should be just before Yabana. That's fine by me too. But yeah, I'm two minds about when it takes place, and at the moment, I want it to take place during the Phase One era. And the other reason I want it to take place during the Phase One era is because the micro series did come out before the 3D show. So I'd like it to physically. I like it to, if we were having a chronological watch party. I kind of want you to watch most of the micro series before the Clone Wars 3D show. Then the Clone Wars 3D show, and then the Battle of Coruscant, and then of course you get Season 7 and Revenge of the Sith, etc. Um, King says, let's see, I didn't want, sorry, King5942 says, oh, sorry, no, sorry, Deference says, or they could have the Galactic Marine armor for Phase 2, but with different colours. Also, it is Anakin's final trial. Yeah, but this is what I mean. I don't know whether I want the Nelvon thing to be Anakin's final trial before Revenge of the Sith, or the final trial before Yoda decides he can have an apprentice. See, because I kind of like that thing, that he's earned the chance to train Ahsoka because he just saved villages, and there's very little Obi-Wan can offer him at this point. But yeah, King says he didn't watch She-Hulk. I talked about it a little earlier because it was going to be terrible, and she is a fourth wall breaker like Deadpool, and Deadpool films and Logan film are on Disney Plus. Yes, they are as well. Yes. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. So I gave She-Hulk a chance, and I wouldn't even say the show's terrible. Well, it's not great, but it's not terrible. Well, yeah, it is kind of terrible. The problem is, it's like they look. I get that some of her obstacles are going to be different to a man's. So, for instance, I think there are times where she gets gaslit by men, or men just use her for sex, or just just crave her body. Men and women, we always have different battles, our own different experiences with life, and our own personal obstacles to overcome. But what I don't like is, because she's a woman, they sometimes give her obstacles weird outcomes, which I don't think is fair enough. So, for instance, right, She-Hulk. Hey, Clay Decker, good to have you on board, buddy. This is spoilers for She-Hulk, by the way, now. So again, this is only going to last about 10 seconds. But all I want to say is this: for instance, She-Hulk gets attacked in an alley by a bunch of guys who literally want to kill her. Right now, for me, I mean, look, she kicked their asses. She transformed and she kicked their asses. Good for her. And she even let them live. Very noble. But for me, I feel that perfectly exemplifies what a woman goes through in some cases, because like if if a guy is on a night out and it's late and he walks through an alley, he is not afraid of being jumped by 8 girls. He's afraid of getting jumped by men. It's like, that is one thing we all have in common. It's more likely to be men who would attack you in the dark than a woman, statistically speaking. But here's what pisses me off. So it happens to She-Hulk, and she holds her own. Fine, pretty cool. She's tough. She's an independent woman who don't need no men, even though she keeps trying to sleep with men because she wants a man. But anyway, yeah, she's tough, independent, strong, intelligent, pretty. Okay, I'm simping. But anyway, later she goes to this, she goes to a sort of, I guess, like a superhero retreat. It's all steam baths and yoga and all that shit. And one of her attackers is there. And she, understandably, is freaking out, going, what the fuck? This guy jumped me in the alley. He tried to kill me. And she's ready to beat the shit out of him. And all the men at this retreat, she's the only girl there, all the men go, whoa, chill out. Listen, he's changed. He's a nice guy. You need to drop your hostility. You need to relax, you. And she goes along with it. She's like, no, you're right. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? No, this guy, I get some right serial killer rapist vibes from this guy. Are we really gonna normalize jumping women just because She-Hulk, fought them off? Like, fuck no, that's insane. So I couldn't believe this. I thought that was such the wrong message. Especially since you've probably got kids who watch this who think, wow, I want to be, like you can get little girls watching this going, when I grow up, I want to be like She-Hulk and a hero in the courts and a hero in the streets, but not be friends with your attackers because deep down they're really nice guys. That is so messed up on so many levels. I am not happy with that. And here's the other thing, and this is what I mean by, like, I feel like they cheated her character because she's a woman. Like, if that was a guy, I think it happens. I think it happens less. Uh, like, whenever a hero teams up with a villain in Marvel, it only usually happens because there's an even bigger danger like around the corner. They need to work together, and it pretty much explains why Hulk and Loki always team up, even though Loki. Wait, did I say Hulk? Sorry, Thor and Loki. Thor and Loki as brothers always team up, even though in the same film Loki always tries to like betray Thor or stab him, or Loki's a villain. He's a villain who slowly becomes an anti-villain. Um, it's yeah. So like I get team ups. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. But the whole look, this guy attacked a woman in an alley, but it's okay because the power of friendship, because he went to yoga, this guy shouldn't even be in prison anymore. Like he never got in any trouble for his actions. He should be in jail. And this is what I think. This is how I think the show was let down. I think I think I think for a show that's meant to beef up She-Hulk as not weak, they gave her situations weak outcomes. There was going to be a final fight between Hulk and Abomination, the rematch, and also like she went on a date with a guy and he hacked her phone, which is like basically he abused her trust and like he slept with her and he just used her and he lied to her, which is like in a weird way it's a form of sexual abuse. To lying to get into someone's pants, giving them misinformation. That is a form of an illegal. I don't want to say the word, but it's really bad. But that never gets resolved. You never hear anything of that guy again. She kind of just laughs off the whole thing, and it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, wow. It's so yeah. There's a reason why it's not doing great in the polls. Tangent over. Devon says Wolf's armor with Plo when they find the lightsaber is desert armor. Also, have a look at the DM. Let me know what you think. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Where's my phone? So yeah, She-Hulk, She-It. That's what I'm gonna call. That's what I'm gonna call the show. She-It, because it's shit. Devon, I'm. Oh, sorry. There you go. I was about to say it's not loaded, but it is. I've got bad signal here, so I can see they've sent images, but they're not loading yet. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so that's phase 1. And phase 2. I do remember the phase 2, because I believe you could play the phase 2 in Battlefront 2 during the Gito episodes. That's cool though. Yeah, that gives me a lot to think about, depending on when I put the Nelvon arc. There are reasons why I should have the Nelvon arc just before Yabana and just before Christophsis. I think Christophsis works better as a narrative, but I think having it just before Yabana works location-wise. So again, I can worry about when it takes place at the end, just before I redress the clones. But yeah, good finds, man. As always, you know your stuff, my guy. Um, oh man, I am so ill. I'm so glad that I haven't got anything planned tomorrow. I'm gonna grab a shower, go to bed, and do f all tomorrow. I need to clean my apartment. That's what I need to do. My apartment's a shithole, and we're having a health and safety inspection on Wednesday. So, brilliant. Um, but speaking of speaking of the things you've sent me, Devon, uh, there is you've sent me some Grievous video clips, and one thing I have to do, folks, is I have to painstakingly make sure that every lightsaber in the micro series, the handle, the hilt, is the same or at least consistent. Like there'll be some frames where it's got more detail than others, but as long as they look the same and don't just change every frame. With General Grievous, this is going to be extremely difficult because not only do I have to make sure the lightsabers are consistent. They have to be consistent in his hands as well, and he has 4 hands. So I'm gonna have to remember that this hand holds this lightsaber, and that's again a shitload of money, unnecessary as well, completely unnecessary, an unnecessary change. But when I'm done, I want to look back and be proud of it. What do I think of Andor? What are my thoughts on Andor? It's got its moments. It's got its moments, and I will keep watching it. And I like that the Rebel Alliance, well, the very early beginnings of the rebellion, I'm glad that it's not centered around Jedi and Sith at the moment. It's heavily focused on the sort of military aspect of things. Great, fantastic. But I feel like I don't know. I feel like there are a lot of episodes where nothing happens, and I'm not saying I want action in every episode. I get why they're not doing that, because if you had a firefight in every episode, everyone would get fatigued, everyone would get bored of it. It would just be like an episode of Star Wars Rebels where every episode is an adventure across the stars. Blasters, friendships, and Wookiees, and cuddly critters and all that bollocks. So no, I get it. I get that they need to sort of slow things down, but equally, I wouldn't mind things slowing down if there's something more exciting going on a different planet. So, for instance, I'm trying to think, like Lord of the Rings. If you just watched Frodo and Sam and Gollum story, the whole film would be them just walking, talking, hiding, climbing, occasionally fighting, more climbing, and then the final fight, right? That's what you would see, and people get bored pretty quickly. But it's only when you cut away to other shit going on. So they're walking and not really doing much. But then it cuts to Aragorn and Legolas, and they're getting ready to defend the people of Minas Tirith or Helm's Deep. And then you cut again, and you've got again. If you just focused on Merry and Pippin, they're just talking to trees, not exciting. But then when the Battle of Helm's Deep's over, it doesn't matter because the Battle of the Trees is still going. So it's like even when one thing stops, the other thing starts, and there's just always there's. But with this, it's like 2 people are talking, and then it cuts to 2 more people talking, and then it cuts to 2 other people talking, and then it cuts to 2. It's just like I don't know. I feel like I appreciate them all building up to something. I get that, but equally, if I was to be really savage and say, right guys, I'm going to release a fan edit of Andor and I'm going to cut out the episodes you don't need, or just take the scenes of the episodes. I guarantee a lot of the episodes could be cut, and the show would still make sense. And that's what I'm talking about. If it still makes sense without episodes, then those episodes can't have been that crucial. And as much as this is fucked up to say, this is what a lot of people did with the Phantom Menace. It was a nice bit of trivia of how Palpatine corrupted politics and became Chancellor, but you could skip that and just start the Skywalker saga with Anakin as a Padawan. It would still make sense, you know? It's called the machete cut. And it's the same with Andor. It's too slow for my liking. It's got awesome Easter eggs and references, and I appreciate that there is like quiet tension between Mon Mothma and you know starting the things, but like I want to see something happen somewhere else, just to cut away for a second and then cut back to the quietness. That's what I think works. It's like Rings of Power. Rings of Power. It's to me, it's not as good as Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy, but it. I was surprised to like it. I thought it'd be like a dud. I thought it was great, and the reason why is because you got you got the hobbits in there and the giant stranger they become friends with, and then it cuts to the elf and the maiden who have discovered like a conspiracy with a hole, and then it cuts to the other elf trying to sort things out with the dwarf, and then it cuts to the like so it's like one out of the five stories involves a fight, which makes the other stories okay to deal with. And with this, it's more like one in every five episodes there's a fight, you know. Uh, this episode that came out on Wednesday, and the episode before were brilliant though. I don't even know what was going through the sky. Were they meteors or stars? I don't know what they were, but it was just that was like visually just stunning, and for their first mission, it was great. And I got some Rogue One vibes from them because some of the characters didn't, not all of the team made it, and it's just like good, good. That it's so dark and it's so brutal. It's awesome, and I love that they all had to prepare and sneak in and infiltrate, and like all the practice and like the adrenaline for just sneaking into an Imperial compound as Imperials. It's great. That's what I love. I do appreciate those moments, but at least that was clearly I don't know. But anyway, uh, Devon says, was there any scenes in the Clone Wars that made you tear up? Five's death hit me the most. I couldn't help but tear up, especially that theme. Um, you know what? Maybe I don't think anything in the Clone Wars has made me tear up there's a fair chance it's because I'm older. Do you know what I mean? Like I can't remember how old you are, my guy, but I think I've got like nearly a decade on you. So I don't know. Maybe I'm self conscious that I'm watching an animation. But Star Wars has made me well up before. Like Star Wars has made me cry. Just not. I just don't think the Clone Wars has in particular. Um, I think if there was a scene which that not choked me up, but that stands the best chance to, it could be 99's uh, death. I think that one struck a chord because it's like he never got his chance to be a soldier, and he finally does, and he dies trying to defend his brothers, and the music is awesome, and I think that's the best way to get me upset about Star Wars in a good way is the music. It's yeah, like Star Wars music has actually made me tear up before, or well, it's either made me tear up or nearly made me tear up without actually making me tear up. I remember two incidences where I have felt the urge to get all emotional with Star Wars. One of them was the first time I went to, well, the only time I've been to a Star Wars convention. I went to the Star Wars Celebration Europe in 2014, and they had this Death Star model, and it was well, actually, it wasn't of the whole Death Star. It was actually a close up model of like the trenches, the trench run. So huge model takes up a load of space. Like it'd probably take you uh about maybe 5 or 10 seconds just to walk past it. That's how big it was. You know, you could if you throw your car keys in this trench, you'd probably have trouble finding it. It was quite huge. Probably like, I don't know, maybe it was the size of maybe the length of like a small bus or something. I don't know. Anyway, it was quite impressive. Anyway, you weren't allowed to go up to it. I think you were separated, if I'm remembering correctly, by netting or glass or something, but you couldn't pass. Couldn't go up to it, but you could watch it. And they had some professional. Actually, was it professional? I think fans were allowed to fly remote control fly these drones in the trench, and there was like one drone was a TIE fighter and the other was an X-wing. And as I looked at it at this trench, it was playing the music that plays where they go, Luke, and you can even hear the quotes go, Luke, you turn off your targeting computer. What's wrong? And he's like, nothing. I'm okay. And it's playing like da, 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 da. Like it's that build up da, 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 da. And like it just really hit that nostalgic knot in my stomach. Like it just struck a chord with me. Like I was a kid again. Do you know what I mean? So when I heard that, I felt emotional because I could see what I was hearing, if that makes sense. And I just, yeah, that nearly got me. That was fantastic. Really right in the childhood right there. Um, so there's that. And the other thing that got me, I think, was actually the first time I heard the Jedi Fallen Order theme music, the main menu theme tune, which has later been once the game came out, you realise it's actually a Cal Kestis's Masters theme. I think the theme's called Jarrow to Pal. But anyway, the theme tune to the Jedi Fallen Order game really struck a nerve because to me it sounded like everything about Star Wars. It sounded majestic and royal, and when I heard it, I like when you hear the first few notes. I just thought of the golden era of the Republic, the prequels, the Jedi in their primes, Coruscant, Jedi Temple, all that. And then when you hear and then all of a sudden the music takes like a sad tone, and you think, and you're like, oh God, Order 66, the fall of the Republic, the betrayal, the loss, the confusion, all that hit me, and then after it, you hear like this really sort of sad, bittersweet moment of like not even triumph, but like the music perseveres, and you hear like a small echo of hope, and that just reminds me of Luke surviving, Obi surviving, Cal surviving, just fighting the fight another day, and like that nearly got me. And then I nearly made myself cry with one of my own edits. The baby Grogu edit I did. You know that scene in Book of Boba Fett where Grogu remembers Order 66. I did an audio edit of that, and what I did was I played the Jedi Fallen Order theme because I think that theme's perfect and it suits so many scenes in Star Wars. But when I did that, I also edited baby noises so that Grogu seemed more afraid of the situation rather than just sort of sitting there just confused. So when I heard the baby sort of cooing and sounding sad and the Jedi Fallen Order, I was like, oh my god, oh my god! Like I was not expecting it. I felt like I was watching something. To me, I very rarely say this because my edits are always subjective. I never say my edits are better than the original. I'm not that arrogant. But with this with this particular edit, I was kind of like I was like fuck me. I feel like I've made something better here. Like that shit just like I felt like crying. I was like, oh my god, this is just so sad. This is like the saddest scene. I made the scene like 10 times sadder. This is it's so cruel. It just I'm surprised. I'm surprised Disney didn't do that. They didn't make the scene could have been way sadder. And I tell you what was golden luck. I must say The baby noises I use for Grogu, I think Disney happened to use those same noises for him because you hear those same noises in the finale of the Mandalorian season 2. They use the exact same baby noises I did. So lucky me, lucky me. Let me catch up in your comments. Clay completely disagrees with my Andor analysis. He says everything in Andor is necessary. Every conversation builds the universe and characters. A scene of Jar Jar in the Phantom Menace fighting a droid in one shot was unnecessary. Ah, but was it though? Because we all know Jar Jar was secretly a Sith Lord all along. So even that, even that fight with the droid, I feel was all part of his plan so that Anakin was more open and conversational with Padme. So you're wrong, sir. You're wrong, Clay. Andor is unnecessary. Jar Jar, everything, every fart, every joke, every squeeze me, that is necessary to the plot. There would be no Death Star without squeeze me. Let me put it to you that way. King5942 says Reva or Reva. Is it Reva? I think you pronounce it as Reva. Reva is a disgrace. She keeps abruptly shouting like she's a sadist or sadistic as Two-Face from The Dark Knight. Yeah, I I don't mind Reva. I don't even mind her shouting. The one thing I'll say about her is like I think she sums up what for a lot of the Inquisitors is wrong with them, which is they are they only hate the Jedi because the Jedi fail to protect them from other Inquisitors and the clone troopers. So the reason she's angry, I feel, is because Obi-Wan failed her. Well, let me put it to you this way: she's not meant to be stable. She's not meant to be a cold, calculating villain. She's not. She's meant to be this erratic, immature thing, and that is why, in my personal opinion, she screams a lot because it's like it's misplaced bursts of anger. It's kind of like if you notice, Vader doesn't scream other than when Padme dies or when he gets his arm chopped in on Bespin. Other than that, he is in control of his anger, and because he is, up until Return of the Jedi, we see it. Well, I mean, obviously, when I said before the prequels and before Return of the Jedi, Vader was very one-dimensional, or what's the expression? Two-dimensional. Yeah, it's two-dimensional because he was a villain, and he didn't even seem complex in his mentality. So we could easily see him as pure and simple villain. It's only Return of the Jedi when he starts saying it's too late for me, so you're like, fuck, does this guy have regrets? Oh my god. And with Dooku, he's very two-dimensional because he's sold his soul. Uh, so yeah, he's not conflicted. He's made up his mind of who he is. But with people like Reva or Asajj Ventress, they are not meant to be villains. They are not meant to be villains that function in whatever mentality they're stuck. The mentality they share is they believe in their what they're doing, but only because they are terrified to admit to themselves that they don't like this. It's why Ventress renounces the dark side and becomes, a bounty hunter, because her heart was never really in it as much as she thought she was. And it's the same with Reva. She has the chance to kill Luke because she's so pissed off at Obi-Wan for landing her in that situation, and she can't do it. And that's when the screaming finally stops. She's just depressed and broken, and she cries. So it's not like it's that's why I think that's a lot of people got pissed off at Reva, and I'm not even trying to invalidate your reasons, not at all. I'm just saying that it wasn't a problem for me because, uh, you know what I mean? Like like, look, we've never seen this character before. If this is how the character acts, that's the character. You know what I mean? Whereas if they took a previously established character like Quinlan Voss and made him erratic and pissed off and screaming, then yeah, that's like, what have you done to him? You know. Clay Decker says he loves the scene in Kenobi when Vader stormed into the room yelling, "You were warned," and what defeat would bring. It was cool to see Vader show some anger, but it should only happen once in a blue moon. Completely agree. Completely agree. A lot of people are complaining that there's too much Vader in everything. Uh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I've got a horrible light. I'm coming down for cold or something. Yeah, a lot of people are. You you don't have too much Vader, but yeah, his anger. That was terrifying, especially because we only ever see in the original trilogy, Vader doesn't run. Vader never runs. He just walks. And even when he's walking against Luke, I wouldn't even say it was that fast. But when he's marching into into the room, that's the closest we've ever seen Vader to running. And that was scary as fuck, because, like, is he going to headbutt her? Is he going to strangle her with his fists? That was intense. I missed your previous comment, did I? Where's your previous comment? Oh, sorry. Yes. Clay Decker did say, am I the only one that thinks that The Force Awakens is the only modern Star Wars film to nail the look and feel of the original trilogy, especially the look and feel of A New Hope? You know what? I would agree with that, but I also personally think Rogue One does it too. I think Rogue One has a night, like, I think out of all the Disney films, Rogue One is the best sort of uh, merge between the prequels and the original trilogies, because you've got the space battle in Rogue One, which is very prequely, you know, it's like all CGI and stuff, but at the same time, it just, they gave it that 70s gloss. All the pilots in Rogue One had those 70s mustaches, and they used like a good section of practical effects, and it just, yeah, I just like that. So yeah, but yeah, I totally get why you're saying The Force Awakens. I think everyone's biggest critique with The Force Awakens was it was too similar to A New Hope. But I actually think that's the only sequel film that's allowed to do that. Because don't forget, it isn't just a sequel. It is, in a sense, an unofficial reboot for fans who have never watched any Star Wars. So the whole, you know, recycling the Death Star plan, recycling Tatooine, recycling Vader and Tarkin, and yeah, all that stuff. It's just like that film gets the pass. But yeah, it did feel like it's used the puppets and the cantina. It's just, yeah, it's. I think out of all the Star Wars, I think it's actually my favorite of all the sequels. I don't think it ruins anything. Like, Luke wasn't even ruined as a character in my eyes. He was like, when we saw him at the end, he was in those white Jedi robes, which, to we the audience, that says that he's still, in his heart and spirit, a Jedi. And you know, it even says he's the last Jedi. You know, so yeah, the only thing I think it ruins slightly is Han Solo. And the reason I say that is because I don't like that Han's arc goes back to square one. Like, he's once again a smuggler, even though he was a rebel, you know, rebel war hero and everything else. I get why as well. He becomes a smuggler because he's depressed over his son and he can't face his failure as a father, and he just, yeah. But it's like they could have still had him show up. But but like for it would have been funny. Like to me, it would have been hilarious if he was like in charge of the New Republic fleet, right? Because you know, like when Solo, a Star Wars story came out, he wanted to be a pilot, best in the galaxy, and in the original trilogy, he flies the Millennium Falcon and travels the galaxy. It would have been cool if he was an Imperial like flight navy man, like in charge of his own fleet or legion, right? But the moment the Death Star become no Death Star, the moment the Millennium Falcon activates, he leaves his post to get his favorite ship back, and it could have been funny if like he keeps getting missed calls from like people in the New Republic going like Solo, Commander Solo, where the hell are you? You know, like we're lost without you, sir. And he's like, I'll be back. I'm just taking care of something. And yeah, but no. Instead, he was just a smuggler again. There was no, and he did show growth in development because he discussed how he now believes the Force is real and he was wrong about it all. But still, I didn't like that he was a smuggler. But that's just me. Uh, King says, I wish that actually, you know what? Before I read this, let me just get a drink because my mouth's on fire. I'm really ill. I'm coming down with something. Give me 10 seconds. Give me 10 seconds, my subscribers. Not literally, but you know. I'll be right with you. Oh, there we go. A nice hot drink of juice. I hope this mends my throat. Jesus. Talking takes it out of me, it really does. I should have had this on standby, I apologise. But hey, I don't get paid for this, so screw you. Let's see. Let me read these comments. King5942 says, I wish the current 20th Century Fox in the 2000s is used in the prequels after the OG trilogy special editions, where the camera moves instead of staying in one place like the early Fox logos. I wish the current. Okay. Um, so what? Oh, so in the prequels, you want that nice pan and that sort of pan and zoom thing. Well, that's what I'm for. That's what fan editors are for, my friend. We can fix that. Somebody, I think it was AD1, who does these amazing fan edits called Star Wars Revisited. They're my favorite fan edits of all time. Look them up. AD1, ADYWAN. He does Star Wars Revisited. He's done A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. They are phenomenal. They are what the special editions should have been. They honour the prequels whilst retaining the original trilogy. I'll leave it at that. But I believe he uses the Fox logo that they used for Avatar, which is obviously like the 3D home looking one, and it looks nice and modern. And yeah, I might pinch that whenever I do mine. Devon says, different topic. I'm glad they didn't touch Starkiller and made him into an Inquisitor. I think if he was canon, he should be Vader's secret apprentice. That would be interesting. Here's the thing, Vader. Anakin had Ahsoka, right? And what's funny about her introduction was, I mean, when she first came, I didn't like her. Because I didn't like the concept of Anakin having an apprentice between episodes 2 and 3. I didn't like the idea that Anakin had an apprentice between these two films, where it's so obvious in these films she wasn't even conceived. There was no mention or reference to her at all. But over time, over all the seasons, Ahsoka has grown to be one of my absolute favourite characters of all time. She's brilliant. She represents what the Jedi should have been. Ashley Eckstein is a phenomenal voice actress. I'm kind of gutted she didn't get to be Ahsoka live action, but who knows? Maybe she'll play a younger version. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. Since Anakin had an apprentice, it's not really a stretch of the imagination anymore that that Vader has one between episodes 3 and 4, or even between episodes 4 and 5. I don't know. It's plausible. It's just like Kenobi is now a thing. Like Vader met up with Obi-Wan again between episodes 3 and 4. He met up one more time, and we accept that now. We accept that because we've seen it, and it could be the same with Starkiller. The only thing I would say is we don't necessarily need Sam Witwer to be Starkiller. Now, there's nothing wrong with his Starkiller. He does a fantastic job, and I'm sure, and yeah, I'm sure if I saw him play it, I would be so pleased. But to me, Sam Witwer to Starkiller is what Ashley Eckstein is to Ahsoka. They brought it to life, and they can in voice acting terms continue it. But like, give someone else a shot. Give someone else a crack at the mantle. That's what I think should happen with Starkiller. Um, I don't know. I don't know whether he would be called Starkiller anymore, because Starkiller, the name Starkiller. Well, actually, the name Starkiller originates from early concept for Anakin Skywalker. His old name used to be Anakin Starkiller, and then it became Luke Starkiller, I believe. Well, anyway, so it's a scrapped concept, and then Starkiller became became the grayish kind of Jedi in Force Awakens, the Force Unleashed, and now it's been repurposed for the name of the new Death Star, the planetary Death Star. So I don't know whether they would give him that name back, or if they would just dub him as Vader's, just the secret apprentice, and they leave it at that. But who knows? But it's cool that they've brought his Sith Stalker armor into canon in the shop in Andor. Fantastic. King 5942 says, my favorite Marvel content on Disney Plus are Logan, Deadpool, Deadpool 1 and 2, Spider-Man, the new Amazing Spider-Man. I assume that's what TNA stands for. The Spectacular Spider-Man, and the Marvel Netflix series. They're in the recents from Disney Plus this year since April. That is cool, man. I've got some catching up to do myself with Disney Plus. I believe I only watched the first season of Daredevil, and I need to watch season 2, and so on and so forth. I think the reason I didn't I kind of got put off it is because I never watched the original Daredevil, and and because it wasn't in the MCU, it's like I could skip it and it wouldn't affect what I know is going on. But now that he is in the MCU, I'm interested in it, so I might rewatch that again. But it's cool. Clay Decker says, I think George should have made the sequel trilogy in the early through mid 90s. I don't. That is actually not a that would have been interesting, but you know what? Here's the thing. Whatever George Lucas did to the prequels, he would have done to the sequels. So I guarantee if he made the sequels instead of the prequels at that time, it would have looked like the prequels. It would have been heavily CGI. There would have been a fucking Doug or alien walking around every scene. Jar Jar probably would have been the new Chewbacca in that trilogy. Palpatine may have even returned again. No, he probably wouldn't have returned. But you know what I mean? So I think it's weird. People always say they ruined the sequels. George would have saved it. I don't think he would have. I generally don't think he would have. I think I will be forever eternally grateful for what he's given us. But I've been saying this for years now and for months in these live streams. Hey, me, Miss Marv, glad to have you, my friend. Glad to have you. I've been saying this. George Lucas's best work or things he signed off on, which is obviously the original trilogy to start with, like Empire Strikes Back. He didn't direct that. He did not direct that. So even though it's his baby and it's his project, one of the reasons it's so amazing is because that was a collaboration. Like he didn't direct that. And with the Clone Wars 3D show, which is arguably better than the prequel trilogy, you could actually you can erase the prequels, just watch the Clone Wars 3D show, and you would still get what happened to Vader. You would get that. Lucas was the producer, but Dave Filoni was the writer. And so this is what I'm saying. People who challenged Lucas and had their own ideas and understood how he thought, but said, "Well, look, I want to do this." You know, those yielded the best results. But with the prequels, obviously I wasn't fucking there. I was only a child when they came out. But like, he was in charge of everything, everything. His cash, his funding, and if you watch the Anakin Skywalker auditions between the three kids, it was Jake Lloyd, Devin Michael, and some other kid. Right, there were three kids. The one of the kids looked like he was just about ready to wet himself. Jake, was sweet innocent Jake. He couldn't even look Natalie Portman in the eye though. He was just being a kid, just off looking away. I mean this in the most respective manner, because this might even apply to me. But Anakin in that audition looked like he was on the spectrum because he didn't make eye contact, and I wonder if I mean I might be thinking too much into it, but to me that's that's a classic, it's a classic showcase sign of autism maybe. Which again is fine, and obviously that's something George Lucas liked that, or maybe he was just, maybe he's just shy in front of Padme, Natalie Portman, who was 14, but he wasn't, he had no confidence in him during that scene, in my opinion. And then you had the third kid, Devon Michael, who to me should have been Anakin. And I mean no disrespect to Jake Lloyd, I had no problem with Jake Lloyd's performance. It's only because I've seen Devon Michaels. I'm like, oh, dude, he looked like Mark Hamill. He looked exactly like Mark Hamill, a young Mark Hamill. It was insane. He looked like he could have been Mark Hamill's son, let alone playing his childhood father. And when he acted across Natalie Portman, she laughed at what he said. They had good chemistry. It just seemed the most natural. But George, and here's the thing: there's a point to all this. The people saying the people who were present at the audition were saying to either the camera or to each other, yeah, this Devon guy, there's clearly a good pattern of, there's good energy there, there's good this, that, and the other. But then George goes, yeah, I liked Jake Lloyd, and they were just sort of like, cool, yeah, yeah. And it's like no one challenged him. No one went, George, are you fucking blind? This kid clearly looks like Mark. I don't know what more you want. He was surrounded by fucking yes men, because who the hell is going to say to George Lucas, I think you're wrong? They're probably terrified they get fucking sacked or something. I mean, this was like the biggest film ever. Star Wars after 30 years was coming back. It was nuts. And then when the prequels came out, most people shat on them. The only people that didn't shit on them were kids. I'm speaking in general terms, but yeah, I'm George, and this is why George Lucas doesn't want to do it anymore, because every time he worked on the prequels, and he was in complete control, people were like it was mediocre, it wasn't great, or Hayden's acting was wooden. What have you doing? You've ruined it. Too much CGI. What you and this is and he was like. Disney asked him, or someone asked him on an interview, would you ever go back to it? And he was like, fuck no, I'm not going back to Star Wars. Like, what, so everyone can just shit on me further? I am done. I'm collecting my money and I'm fucking off. Why would I make films where no one likes them anymore? It's so heartbreaking, but like, it only happened because he had complete control, and that should never be the case. Yeah, so tangent over, but I'm telling you, yeah, so when people, so yeah, Who was it that asked me? Was it you, Clay? No, someone said. Um, who was it? Somebody asked me about uh, if the sequels came out in the night. Yeah, it was Clay. Uh, so Clay, sorry, yeah, Clay wasn't even asking me a question. He just said that he thought George should have made the sequels in the 90s. And hey, man, you know what? Maybe no matter what happens, George Lucas's 90s sequels would have been better than our current sequels. Maybe that's one thing to take away. I like, you know what? Yeah, so I think, yeah. So I actually think we're both right. I think if George Lucas made them, they probably would have been better than what we've got, and they would have they would have respected his characters further. Because George Lucas cared about the characters he crafted, and he wanted to, whatever happens to them in the end, it should have been however George imagined it, you know? Like, even if Disney didn't like his ideas, what they should have said is, okay, we're going to change the situation of the plot, but you obviously want Leia to be in politics, and you obviously want Luke to be perhaps still training Jedi. Like, we will keep these aspects but change the rest. But no, they didn't. They just said, fuck it, we're gonna kill each one in our own way, just to make Rey more lovable. You know, it's so yeah, I think it would have been better, but there is no doubt they would have got shat on when they first came out. Absolutely. And you know what's funny? If the sequels came out in the 90s and then George Lucas sold everything, what would have happened is he would have sold them to Disney, and then Disney would have announced the prequels. And you know what? I think they would have done a better job than what they did with the sequels, because with the prequels, I don't. Well, with the exception of Vader, actually, I think it's more complex. It's harder for them to fuck up a character, because no matter what they do, that character is going in a particular direction. And look what they did with Obi-Wan. They resurrected Obi-Wan for the Kenobi show, and even though they gave him new shit to do, it doesn't fuck up the end of his story, because we know the end of his story is on the Death Star. Fucking hell, my throat's killing. Me, Mr. Marv says, dude, you gotta watch Daredevil season 3. It's quality television. My friend, I will catch up with that. I'm probably gonna be so fucking poorly tomorrow, because I'm coming down with something. Yeah, that maybe I can do it. Maybe I can smash it all. Watch it in bed. King 594.20 says, do you believe the sequel trilogy is taking place in an alternate timeline? No, I don't. Sadly, I don't. A lot of people say this is their headcanon. Fine. I never get. I I don't mind, like, when people say in my headcanon this or my headcanon that, to me, I feel like that's just not facing the problem head on. So, like, for instance, if I see something that isn't contradicted, like the Darth Maul fan film, which takes place before Phantom Menace, I could say, yeah, in my headcanon, this happened, because there's nothing to go against it. But when I see a fan film and someone goes, yeah, in my headcanon, this is how episode 9 or episode 7 ended. It's like, but it didn't. We saw that shit. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Did I miss a few comments? Sorry, my guy. Let's see. King5942 says, my comment about the current Fox logo, I meant it should really look like Star Wars is made in literally modern times. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, man. Yeah. It's weird. Star Wars. You know what? If I'm not mistaken, I believe Star Wars was the first film. Like, this will blow your mind if you've never heard this. Star Wars was the very first motion picture long film with sound to not feature the credits at the start. Because all films before then would have the title sequence and the credits of who's in it, who made the sound, who produced, who directed, who's doing like all that shit, and you'd hear music playing. But no, George Lucas, against the wills and wishes of, I think, the people in the Film Institute or whatever, broke conventions and started off with the title sequence and straight in the film. Straight in the film. No Mark Hamill, no Harrison, like that came at the end. What man, he just, you know what, like people really, like people who barely, like who don't watch Star Wars, who don't give a shit about Star Wars, right? I think they don't, I think a lot of them don't realize just how much they, like, Star Wars has revolutionized so many films that appear to have nothing to do with it. Like George Lucas founded ILM, which is like the leading like lighting and design industrial magic. You know what I mean, for films. It's just changed the game. Like technology has been invented through ILM to create films because of George Lucas. Do you know what I mean? It's just insane of how much he has shaped and molded the film industry. TNAS is the new animated series from MTV in 2003 after the first Spider-Man movie. Ah, cool, man, cool. Clay Decker said, I recently went back and watched Hello Guido's original special edition videos. It's interesting to see his growth as a person, as a content creator, but I do miss the old him a bit sometimes. Yeah, you know, his opinion swayed it because he used to just shit on the prequels, and you know what's funny? He wasn't even necessarily wrong back then when he hated them. Because I think his opinions validated what a lot of other people felt. So yeah, he was sort of the voice of those people. But I think as he's gotten older, I don't know. Maybe he appreciates what at least what the prequels were trying to do, even if it wasn't translated the best. That's one like that. This is one reason why I think you can't skip the Phantom Menace. You can skip it if you had to be ruthless and tell Anakin's story, um, like you know what I mean. In theory, you could even start with Revenge of the Sith and go straight to the original trilogy from there, and it would and Darth Vader would still make sense. That's fine, but one thing that you can't take away from George Lucas is like the whole it's like poetry, it rhymes thing. I'm not just talking about visual similarities. I'm talking about parallels in storytelling. So, like, and also, if you take away the Force, lightsabers, alien teddy bears, clones, blasters, aliens, speed, you know, take all that sci-fi bullshit. Star Wars is about, in a sense, about a corrupt politician who uses the threat and desperation of conflict to rise in ranks, turn a freedom republic into a totalitarian empire, and then the story shifts to a group of freedom fighters fighting, you know, for what to an ordinary civilian was probably considered a lost cause. But even though the odds were always against them, they defeated evil. They won. And you can, you know, if you take away all the mythos, like actually, the mythos is as relevant today as it ever has been. Like Star Wars is basically World War Two and World War One, and Pearl Harbor. Uh, it's Vietnam. It's, you know, it's the politics, and that's what. So no matter what you think of the prequels, the 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 larger picture is he's telling you something about Earth. He's telling you something about how our own governments work. Sadly, it's kind of like the film V for Vendetta. Um, you know, it's kind of scary when, like in V for Vendetta, it's kind of revealed or implied that the government's made their own civilians sick so that in desperations, they gave they gave their chancellors higher power, and also then they funded all these pharmaceutical companies who were pumping out the cure to the diseases that they themselves created, and it's all like it's all relevant and it's important as well. It's almost historical. Star Wars is historical, not just because it's a piece of cinematic excellence, and not because uh, it changed theatre and cinema and storytelling forever. It has. It literally has. You cannot, even if you hate Star Wars, even if you're a Trekkie, Star Wars and George Lucas changed the medium of film. They just did. But it's also like important political literature, and that is why it stands the test of time. It really does. It's absolute. Yeah, it's something like it makes you think. It has connotations. It has implications. It's so yeah, and it's important. It's important. So even though for historical purposes, you may want to introduce your children to the original trilogy uh, theatrical versions that you can find illegally online, such as the despecialized or Project 4K77. And this is without all the added pre-release CGI and stuff. Like, that's fine, right? That's fine if you want to introduce that. But no matter what Lucas has done to his films, even though he's like, no matter how much he's tweaked or redubbed, one thing he hasn't changed is the deeper meaning and metaphor behind it. He has never changed that, and that's something that will live on. And that's one of the cool things about the Clone Wars 3D show is you get to see the politics of it as well. And you know what? I may have just I will cut Andor more slack because of just this conversation. Because yeah, it's a rebellion. Rome wasn't built in a day. A rebellion wasn't built in a day. You have to see the strain and pressure from civilian life. But no, I do not believe the sequel trilogy is in an alternate timeline. I know, technically speaking, alternative timelines exist in Star Wars. Well, I don't actually know. I don't know whether they do. Well, they do in comics, but even those comics aren't canon. The whole point of those comics are they're isolated comics. They show. I think that it was a comic about if Leia trained to be a Jedi instead of Luke. It was like Marvel or Lucasfilm printed it off back in the day. And of course, you got in Star Wars Rebels. Ezra technically time travels. He goes in a temple and he's in a world between worlds, and he saves Ahsoka at the last minute. He pulls her out from Vader, like just before Vader kills her. And it's like, did he change history? Did he change history? Because if he did change history, that means there is technically at least two timelines. You got the timeline where Ahsoka died and Vader killed his former Padawan, and who knows what the fuck happens in that timeline. And you've got the main timeline where Ahsoka made it. What I personally think is I think so far there's one timeline. And in that timeline, Ahsoka is always saved by Ezra, and Ezra is always going in a world between worlds to save it. It's like a loop. Because you never see Ahsoka die at the end of season 2 of Rebels. The temple closes on her, and that's all we know that happens. So, as far as we know, a mysterious hand always reaches out and pulls her through. But equally, there is evidence that she did die, because if she did die, it would explain her absence through the original trilogy. And perhaps when Ezra brings her back, and she jumps back through to a time, it takes place after Return of the Jedi. You never know. So that scene at the end of season 2, where you see Vader limping away and the bird flies through the smoke. I mean, this is really a stretch of the imagination, but maybe when that smoke clears, it's like a different year. Probably not. But I'm just saying, if we really wanted to play with this like theory, other than that, maybe throughout the original trilogy, Ahsoka was just looking for Ezra, and that's why she couldn't help. It's weird though. It's weird to introduce. It's weird to keep Jedi present in the original trilogy if they couldn't help Luke. Like, what? Where was she? Let me read these comments. Clay Decker says Sam Witwer and Matt Lantner are first and foremost on screen actors. While they're both amazing voice actors, on-screen stuff is their bread and butter. Yeah, fair enough. I have seen. Well, you know what? I've heard Sam Witwer's voice acting far more than I've ever seen him on thing. He was in Dexter. Anyone watch Dexter, the Miami serial killer series? Sam Witwer plays a suspect, a pretender serial killer. It's quite funny. I think he wants the fame and credit for a murder. So I am Flame. Hello there. Hello. Good to see you, my guy. Yeah. Sam Witwer plays that guy, and he's also in this like magical TV show where he plays Mr. Hyde. You got someone else who plays Dr. Jekyll, and he plays Mr. Hyde. Um, Now, if I was ever fan casting him as anything, right? I would like if I had $1 billion and Hollywood said, yeah, Star Wars story, do whatever the fuck you want, make a film. I would love to make a live action Dragon Ball Z, and I would I couldn't guarantee this, but there's a fair chance I would have cast Sam Witwer as Vegeta. I think he would make an excellent Vegeta. He has like that sort of royal, deep voice, so I can imagine him like, I am Vegeta, the Prince of all Saiyans. And Kakarot, you fool. But also he has that manic It's Over 9,000 scream when he plays Mold, so it kind of works out. And also he isn't just like an actor who happens to be in Star Wars. He actually loves Star Wars. He knows what he's talking about. I haven't seen any of Matt Lantner's stuff. I'll need to. Clay Decker also says Anakin in The Phantom Menace and the other two prequels is like night and day. In The Phantom Menace, he's kind, smart, and he was confident but not arrogant. In the later prequels, he is selfish, arrogant, and cocky. Yeah, it is literally his transformation. But it's funny because I would argue in Attack of the Clones he is a mixture of The Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith. He's got that sort of kind, gentle sweetness to him that Padme recognizes. But then there's this like other side where he's like um, he thinks I'm too unpredictable. He's overly critical. And he's like just gets all bitter, and it's like a nice sort of blend. But yeah, night and days is a good is a good metaphor, definitely. Clay Decker says my favorite film documentary of all time is Empire of Dreams, about the making of the original trilogy. It's such an interesting and in-depth look at the making of those films. Yes, I haven't seen it in years, but I did watch it when it came out. I thought it was great. I don't even know if it was a British documentary or American, but it had Anthony Daniels and R2D2 hosting it, if I'm not mistaken. I remember watching a TV show in Britain where it followed people with autism, and I was a kid when I was watching it, and it was kind of eye opening because it kind of explained. And this was back in the 90s, so like it was really explaining to like an audience who perhaps weren't aware of this phenomenon or what it was. Long before really the days of internet, or when the internet was in its infancies. It was showing different people, and for instance, it showed a guy with autism who was obsessed with. I can't remember what British TV show it was. It was either Brookside. Brookside was an old 90s show which is it got cancelled. It ended years ago. It ended in the 90s, but it was an old British That brings back memories. It's called Brookside. It might have been Brookside, or it could have been Coronation Street, or EastEnders, or Emmerdale, or something. Some British show, right? And this guy was obsessed with this show, and he always had to buy VHS tapes because he always had to record the shows for his collection. And I think the show had kindly given him new VHS tapes. But when he put the white sticky label on, where you can obviously put the title of whatever it is, because it didn't go on perfectly, and he tried taking it off and it ripped. He was like, "Yeah, I'm really sorry. I can't use it. I'm really sorry. I can't. It's I won't be able to accept it like this now." And it was really interesting. But there was a kid in this documentary that was obsessed with Star Wars, and he was also on the spectrum. And I think whenever things got a bit too much for him at school, he used to love going in a box, just quiet time to himself. And but anyway, he was obsessed with Star Wars. And at the end of the episode, Anthony Daniels actually went to his school to meet him, which is a very sweet gesture for the boy, which I thought was lovely. I know this kid was so excited. He was talking and he was talking like, "Oh yeah, I love this, I love that, I love you in Star Wars, I love your golden armor, I love yeah." And then Anthony, as a sweet sort of joke, sort of like was looking behind the boy's head, and it's like going, "Where's the off button? Where's the mute button?" And his parents and the boy found it quite funny. And I thought, yeah, that was very sweet. It's and you've just reminded me of that because of Empire of Dreams. I think I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't come out, not far apart. But no, it's funny. It's funny how Anthony Daniels can do the right thing, but then he treated Kenny Baker like shit. Like he didn't get on with the little man, and it's like if that happened today, he would have got cancelled. Like no, like no question. Oh man. I am Flame. How are you, I am Flame? How goes it, my friend? How I might rewatch Empire Dreams. I haven't even finished ILM's documentary yet. But I need to. I need to sit down and do it. But it is literally magic. It's a good name they chose for the company, Industrial Lights and Magic, because it is. It literally is. I'll tell you what's killing cinema for me ever so slightly. And I might even be in the minority here. I hate uh, I hate 60 frames per second in movies. That is one of my biggest pet peeves at the moment is that seeing that shit, right? If you don't know what I'm on about, it's when you're watching a film and everything looks smooth as fuck to the point where it looks like it's in real time, like you're watching the news or something. I don't mind it in. It's weird. I almost don't mind it in sport because then it feels like it's live. In fact, I even had to Google the other day because I found out I wasn't the only one. Some people have Googled like, why does 60 frames per second look more real life than real life? And there's some convoluted, I don't know what the word is. There's some answer that apparently, obviously, our brains can only make up things so fast that when we see 60 frames per second, that's actually faster than our retinas or something. But I think it's ruining movies. I think it is, and the reason why is because I think it kills uh, slow motion. I think it absolutely destroys the entire point of slow motion. So, like, if you're watching a nature documentary in 60 or 120 frames per second, right? And you see a lion chase an antelope, and the scene is shot in slow motion, high, in high shutter camera speeds and all that. But it's in 60 to 120 frames per second. It looks fucking weird. It looks like they are deliberately going that speed. It doesn't look like they're slowed down. It looks like they're sort of jumping and then floating like aliens, and it's just like it doesn't work for slow motion. It's kind of like the cave scene in Empire Strikes Back when Luke has a vision of Vader and himself fighting, right? And then obviously the mask blows off and it comes off and it's his own face. If that came out, and I'm sure it has actually has on certain televisions. If you watch that in 60 frames per second, it just looks like they're fighting slowly in real time. And it defeats the point. I mean, if you listen to the audio, Darth Vader's breathing is slow motion. It's not. It's actually more like. I mean, it's deliberately slow motion, but 60 frames per second kills it. And here's another thing. A lot of modern day TVs are built with this thing called like motion smoothing or frame blending. It's like a feature on TVs, and you see them on display in shops, where they will even attempt to make things that were never 60 frames per second look like 60 frames per second. And that's where you get a whole kettle of problem. That is why if you ever see a cartoon and someone's upscaled it to 60 frames per second, if there's ever a cut between scenes, if you go frame by frame, you'll see the whole frame sort of crystallize and crack, because it's not meant to be 60 frames per second at all. But it's like the software's feeble attempt at making them blend smoother. So yeah, for me, when I get a 4K TV or something, I am not. It will come with 60 frames per second. I will allow that for gameplay, but I won't allow that for my movies. No chance. I Am Flame says, I want to make a Star Wars edits channel, but I don't know what to call it. Oh, this could be fun. This could be fun. What could I Am Flame? Well, first of all, can I just say the name I Am Flame is pretty cool. Like I Am Flame. I just love that name. That could be a channel name. But if you actually want a Star Wars name that has, which is like a reference to any of it, you know what you should do? You should pick a character or alien that nobody has turned into their own avatar, if that makes sense. So, for instance, there is one of the best editors I've ever met and had the pleasure of collaborating with. Is called Darth Porg. Now, what's great about that is a Porg could never be a Sith Lord. They're little like puffin penguin alien things, right? So Darth Porg works. It's quite a unique name. So maybe you should have a unique name that thinks outside the box, like Summer Hoth, Summer Hoth, or Winter Tatooine. You know what I mean? Those are terrible examples, but you know what I mean? Like just something, like almost like an ironic name. You know what? I chose Star Wars Story because I wanted to make clips and edits of the Star Wars Story. But then I actually changed. I actually changed the name for a short period to Blue Milk Edits. That was the name of my channel, Blue Milk Edits. And then, two things. One, there's actually a company called Blue Milk Edits, or just Blue Milk. And I get, again, they probably used that Star Wars as a reference for that. But then two, when Disney announced Rogue One, a Star Wars story, I thought, fuck that, gotta get my name back, a Star Wars story, perfect. My name's relevant again. And a lot of people think I've copied that, but It's the reverse. So Darth Porg, Star Wars Story, Crimson Mall. Crimson Mall. Maybe you could maybe you could maybe you could be like golden something. Grey 3PO. Blue 3PO. 2 3PO. 3PO D2, I don't know. Yeah, I like names. I never settle on names unless they're funny or punny. You know, like a good pun. I love a good pun. Um, what do they call the Force in the light side of the dot? The Ashler and the Bogan. Maybe something with that. Or maybe you could make up a clone battalion, like Shadow Squadron or something. You know. I always imagine if there was like a Delta Squad I can come up with, it'd be called Shadow Squadron, and they'd be all black, and they'd have like the hardest missions. Or maybe you should be the Phantom something else though. Not the Phantom Editor, because he already exists and he was actually the first fan editor ever, so can't take that. But the Phantom, or maybe the Menacing Phantom. That'd be quite funny. The menacing Phantom. Or the I don't know, the Phantom something else. Uh, Blue Harvest. Oh, why do you call yourself the Blue Harvester? Unless that name's taken, the Blue Harvester. Because Blue Harvest, I believe, was the original, was the cover name for Star Wars, right? Blue Harvest. Why do you call that? Why do you call yourself the Blue Harvester? Because that's a retro name, that. Blue Harvester. But personally, I love Iron Flame. Not all Star Wars channels need to have a Star Wars related name. Mine sort of says what's on the label though. In fact, sometimes I wish my name was just, you know, SW Story Edits or Star Wars Story Edits, but that's more of a mouthful. The less is more, you know. I mean, there's a YouTube channel called Fixing Disney Star Wars, which again tells you everything you need to know about them. Maybe there's some Knights of the Old Republic characters you could reference. Or you can call yourself. Why don't you call yourself Human Cyborg Relations? I know these are all mouthfuls. Darth Gator. Darth Gator. You get a photo of Darth Vader and you Photoshop his image to like rainbow LGBT colours and Gator. You know, I love a good pun. I love a good pun. Why don't you call yourself Jabba the Hutt's fitness instructor? Jabba the Hutt's personal trainer. That's actually pretty fucking funny. Call yourself Jabba the Hutt's personal trainer. That is genius. Or again, you could reference other films that parody Star Wars. So you could be called Pizza the Hutt, which is a great, you know, is a great parody character they invented. You could call yourself May the Fork Be With You, like Mark Hamill said on The Simpsons. Are you still here, by the way, dude? That's a good question, because so far I don't know if any of these names are. I don't know if you like any of these names or not, or if you're bored by them, my guy. Let me just check the audio on the thing. Yeah, so, yeah, Star Wars channel, Star Wars channel. You know, if you really wanted to be bland but direct to the point, why don't you call yourself Star Wars Channel? Star Wars Channel. Char Wars Channel. I wonder. croissant editors. Uh, you can call yourself echo base editors. Echo base edits. Um, yeah, it's also good to have a channel name with the same letters, alliteration. That could be quite good. So you got Star Wars. Oh, actually, no, I've got W in my now name. Star Wars Story though, but it's SWS. You could be. I don't know. Um, Echo Base editors, Endor editors. Um, Death Star. I don't know. Death Star Smoke Room. Uh, Cantina. Yeah, Cantina Cleanup Crew. Uh, so many names. So many names to choose from. Uh, I Am Flame is a good name though. I've never come across this name before. I Am Flame. And also, here's the other thing. If you ever decided you wanted to do edits that were not Star Wars related, you if you had the name Iron Flame, you wouldn't have to then create a new identity to better explain it. No, you could just be a very versatile fan edit channel. Like for me, I've done the occasional fan edit for other movies, so I had to put them on a separate channel called Scene Tweaks, uh, which I need to get back to doing really. But yeah, I've got about four different channels doing different things, and yeah, you'll come up with something. Um, don't know, it could be interesting. Um, you'll have to really think of a name. I have a feeling Iron Flame's gone to bed though, because I've heard nothing from you, young man. I'm there giving you gold. I'm giving you dynamite, and this is the thanks I get. Blasphemous hypocrisy. Oh well. But hopefully you'll watch the replay in the morning. But I'm glad you made the stream in the first place, my guy. Actually, that's a good point. Who have we got left? Who is listening to me ramble on? Who's listening to this 30-year-old man waffle on? Because I'll probably go to bed in about 10 minutes. I'd say 10 minutes. That's what I'm thinking. And that way, I've done it for at least an hour and a bit. No, 2 hours even. Who's still here? I want to know who is joining in this live stream. And if anyone has any questions or suggestions or critiques or comments or anything, because at the moment, I've seen C3PO get more of a response than this motherfucker. But yeah, I'm sort of running dry on the well of ideas for your name. Okay, so Iron Flame is still here. That's good to know. Says, I actually just upload Destiny 2 stuff on this account. Honestly, I want to keep a name related to fire. Well, good. Okay, so you want to separate. Okay, so Iron Fire. I've never played Destiny, so if you say it's related to fire, I'll have to go. I'll have to go with that. No, you need the Star Wars name. Were any of the names? Yeah. Were any of the names? Well, hey, me, Mr. Marv, that's more power to you, my guy. Are there any names I've said so far, Iron Flame, that you may want to keep or consider? I personally think Echo Base Edits. That's a good one. Echo Base Edits. Blue Harvester. Blue Harvester. That's a great one. Uh, Hoff Sunsets or something. Something ironic. Me, Miss Marv, you're not the only one who should be sleeping. I should be sleeping. I'm going to call this stream in about 7 minutes. We'll call it quits then. What else can it be? What good name can we give our friend and family, I Am Flame? Maybe you should have a theme amongst channels. So maybe your fan edit channel should also be I am something else. Like I am editor. I am fan editor. I am a flaming fan editor. I am a Mustafar flame. I am a flame on Qui-Gon and Vader's corpse. Um, uh, you should call yourself Naboo Cremation Services, that LTD. Should have a go down a storm. Uh, um, Targeting systems. I'm just trying to think of any, or is it, or is there any? Is there any? There must be a creature that is cool in its own right, but not many people pretend to be the creature. Like there must be dozens of channels on YouTube where they're called Darth Vader. I've seen this all the time actually. I get people who have accounts called Darth Vader or Anakin Skywalker, and the profile picture of the account is of that character. And every time they leave a comment on my edit, they talk in the first person, like as if they are that person. So like Anakin training Ahsoka, and then I'll see Anakin Skywalker commenting, going, "Oh yeah, I remember when I did that," and it's like, okay, I see what you're doing, but you know, there must be like 10 different versions of him. What you need is like Darth Porg is great because a Porg could never be a Jedi or Sith. That's quite funny. A Porg of all things, Darth Porg, great. So you could be like, um, Wampa Senator, you know, or Mustafar Wampa, you know, Tatooine Wampa, uh, or you know what I mean, just some creature, or Rancor tamer. I don't know. Or you could do it like so. For a while, my channel was it was sort of like I still kept the name Star Wars Story, but before I had this icon of half Anakin, half Vader, which has become my icon now, really. Um, it's I used to use Handsome Thrawn as my avatar. Do you remember those days? I was Handsome Thrawn. It wasn't even my original art. I pinched it from someone, truth be told. But again, it's a non-profit channel, so I'm not sure they mind. But I was Handsome Thrawn, and people found it hilarious. Um, yeah, this channel's gone through quite a few changes actually. Wow, I forgot about Handsome Thrawn. So yeah, maybe sometimes it's just about taking a character and customizing it. Like Crimson Maul's icon now is like a weird looking Darth Maul, and it's funny because it's like he's put a spin on it. Maybe you could be maybe you could be definedly the wrong version of that character, like White Vader, which did exist as a concept because he was gonna survive Return of the Jedi, and they all go after the Emperor. So you could have a White Vader, or you could call your channel Pink Chewie. Oh, you could call your channel Blue. Oh no, that's probably taken. Bluey, Blewie, and it's a blue Chewbacca. Blue Backer, Blue Backer. You need to be Blue Backer. I don't think you're gonna find a better name than Blue Backer. And also it works because it sounds contradictory. It's like you're saying blue and black at the same time. Blue Blacker. That's the best you're gonna get from me. Blue Blacker. Or again, thinking of puns, it could be Gru from Despicable Me, covered in fur. Gru Backer. Or Shoe Backer. Anything that rhymes with chew. Mew from Pokemon, Mew Backer. Um, just call yourself Chewy. But instead of a picture of Chewbacca, it's a picture of Chewy chewing some. I don't know. Blue Backer. That's a great one. You're never gonna get better than Blue Backer. Blue Backer edits. Bit of a mouthful to say. Blue Backer. Or as Cartman says from South Park, Jewbacker. He wanted to do his own version of the sequels. He tried to blackmail Mickey Mouse in South Park, and he goes, "I want to write a Jewish character called Jewbacker." Yeah, sky's the limit. Best bin skylight installers. Best bin conservatories. You could take I mean, why you could also take a previously established meme that the Star Wars community knows and just make it your own personality. So like Boba Fett or Mango Fett, or you could call your channel Django Unchained, but with a J, not a DJ, and you have a picture of Django with I don't know. That might be insensitive actually, but you get my point. I mean, I will be shocked if you don't go with Blue Backer. I'm telling you, that's the best thing I've ever come up with. Somebody did a meme of Rey from the sequels. It says, and there's a picture of her, and it says Rey, and next to her is a picture of her covered in blue, and it says Blu-ray. Quite funny. You could take a picture of Rey's face, put it on the Mandalorian's body, and your channel could be called "This is the Rey." MILF, no, fucking hell, I said the wrong thing then. What does Han call Chewbacca? Moof Milker or something like that. I was going to say MILF then. Moof Milker or something. I don't know. Which is the equivalent of Nerf Herder, I guess. Nerf Herder is almost certainly taken by people. What about? I love these names, man. I wish you'd asked me this sooner. We could have done this all night. Hilarious. I'll think of one more, then I'll call it quits. I think. Unless anyone's got any questions for the old boy, or suggestions. Has anyone got any suggestions for our dear Iron Flame? Because he may be the next greatest fan editor. Who knows? I might end up being a collaborator with him. If anyone has any suggestions for Iron Flame, maybe Tarkin slippers. Grandma Tarkin, picture of Tarkin holding a baking tray full of oven goodies. Grandma Tarkin. Bone Trooper, could be a clone trooper skeleton. Chorus Can, not Chorus Can't. You should call yourself X-Squeeze Me, like what Georgia says. X-Squeeze Me. Or give yourself like a really mundane but long name like Yoda Speaking Forwards. That'd be quite funny. Yoda Speaking Forwards. And that's the other thing though, when you think about this fan edit channel, will you just upload fan edits, or do you want to narrate some of them and walk your subscribers through them? Because if you do, who are you going to introduce yourself as? You might want a gimmick. You may want to have a style. You may want to hide behind an alias. I don't know. Maybe you could be called or Execute Order 69 Giggity. Probe Droid Pictures. I don't know. Fucking hell. Here's the guy, Boss Nass. Yeah, maybe you could kiss my nasshole. I don't know. I'm all for these. Galaxy not so far away. I don't know. Everyone's telling me to get Modern Warfare 2. Don't know if I can be bothered. It's a lot of money, and I just play Rebirth Island anyway. You know what? You know who's coming back into fashion? Iron Flame. Shore Troopers. Shore Troopers are coming back into fashion because of Andor, and of course they first made an appearance in Rogue One. Maybe you could just be a shore trooper. I mean, Hello Greedo. His name isn't really anything to do with being a stormtrooper now, but he's built up his identity as a stormtrooper, and I'm trying to build a Annie Vader hybrid identity. So yeah, maybe just be like, maybe make up a fictional clone trooper within the Empire that you can just be. Like, hey guys, this is CT. Or do they say CT anymore? Or did they change it to FN? But yeah, I am FN, and then you put your birth year or something, you know. Play around, play around. Yeah, personally, I don't think you'll get any better name than Jabba's personal trainer, Blue Blacker. Uh, yeah, or Echo Base Edits. Echo Base Edits is pretty tells everyone who you are and what you do. Yeah. Me, Mr. Marv. If I had to guess, me, Mr. Marv makes memes, or at the very least, appreciate memes. Unless memist means something else, and I am just unawares. You could put you could put Watto's 5-sided dice as your name, Iron Flame. Imagine your channel name was just a complete out of cut, like a really big long ass Star Wars quote. Like, imagine your channel name was Blue, it's the boy. Red, his mother. Which of course is Watto speaking to Qui-Gon about betting on Anakin. Imagine that was your whole, like, all that was the title of your channel. Now, but you know, people would find that hilarious. Just something like nobody really gives a shit about. They find you. It's like, hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to Blue. It's the boy. Red. Or maybe go with something risque like what do you call a leader of the Jewish faith? Because Christians have priests and Catholics have the Pope. Who conducts a Jewish who runs the rabbi? That's it. Would excuse me. Would Rabbi Watto be too on the nose? Probably would. Oh, and pardon the pun there as well. But you know, people have, even Peter Serafinowicz, who voiced Darth Maul in Phantom Menace, drew funny comparisons between the awkward elephant in the room between Watto and sort of Yiddish speaking. So Rabbi Watto could be. I tell you what, that would definitely fucking raise some alarms. But fuck it, man. You know, go for it. Like, you could, you know, you may even be Jewish, so it might even be okay. Maybe that's what you could do though. Like, just say, yeah, or like trooper. You know, just take a character and transform that character. Transform Otto, or transform. You know, put Jabba's head, Jabba's head onto a slug with a six-pack, and call yourself Jabba's personal fitness instructor. Something like that. How long have I been live streaming? Because I've been waffling on around. 3 fucking hours. Jeez, right. Guys, unless you've got anything else to say, I'm going to depart, my friends. I'm going to flee the scene, but I really appreciate the turnout tonight. It's always my same subscribers, I must say. But who knows? I may do this tomorrow. I can't promise anything, but it depends on my throat is as well, actually. But I am tempted to do this tomorrow. It's been I've enjoyed myself. We could have watched a film. The amount of time I spent on this bloody thing. Jeez. Guys, yeah, appreciate it. Join the Discord. I'll share the Discord one more time. Well, actually, first things first. One more time, I am sharing the GoFundMe. I need financial support for the micro series canon edit so I can bring it to you. And those that donate can join what I'm about to send you here, the Discord, where on a Wednesday we've watched the micro series and now we're watching the 3D show, and we keep stopping to write down notes, observations. It's really good. We come up with some of these really cool creative ideas. It's great. And we have different threads. But I appreciate it. Right, guys. It's been a pleasure. Keep us posted, Iron Flame, on whatever channel you pick. Or, we will, as a certain Sith Lord once said, we will watch your career with great interest. Well, that actually sounded more like Alec Guinness, to be fair. Anyway, take it easy, my friends. Happy Friday. May the Force be with you always.